A longtime newsman with an opinion, a proud dad, an American, supporter of our veterans and active duty military. Common sense discussion begins now. This is the Steffan Tubbs Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
In the newsroom. To you moms out there, where would we be without you? Thank you for all that our mothers do, every single one of them. If at bare minimum, bringing us into this world. Hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend, and we are ready to roll until 7 o'clock tonight, the first opening salvo, if you will, of our 20 hours a week of attempted common sense. We will have in this first segment some sports, because sometimes to me, obviously, sports is news and news is sports, especially this past weekend and a couple of things that happened, as well as a pretty cool thing, even if you don't follow sports that much. One of the Denver Nuggets, one of the greatest, probably one or two, top one or two ever to play for the Denver Nuggets. Big thing happened for him today. And our other cities so mad. Fans of other basketball teams. So we'll talk about that. We will also get into, you see the weekend? Look, this is flat out doxing. And just in case you don't know, I'm not trying to talk down to you, but I didn't know what doxing was until I went out to Johnny Choate's house. Remember, what was that? 2019? When they decided that the executive director of the ICE facility in Aurora, they thought, well, you know what? We're going to his house. We're going to disrupt his life. We are going to, it doesn't matter what we do to the neighborhood. It doesn't matter about the neighbors. They're collateral damage. This is the same Antifa, idiots, thugs, criminals, opportunists that went out there. And that's when I kind of had baptism by fire. Oh, so this is doxing, where you put out the address of someone. And you probably haven't thought about it. I'd say most people haven't thought about it. But, you could get doxed. Yes, you. You don't have to be some rich, famous, living in Beverly Hills, or in this case, the greater Washington, D.C. area. It is absolutely disgusting. These people, and they're not all of them on the left. I want to make that perfectly clear. I know that this is a fringe. I'm trying to be nice here. Now, I don't know if, say, your average Joe or Jane Democrat, very unhappy with last week's leak, if Roe v. Wade is overturned, I don't know if they would be there, except for the fact that they live in Colorado, and getting to, protest outside of a Supreme Court justice's house when it's called on like hours before, it'd probably be difficult. I want to say that there are the majority of both parties. I know this sounds crazy, especially to open up a program. I want to say the majority of Republicans and the majority of Democrats are not those that would go do a January 6th. Sorry, you're not going to convince me that all of those were plants, because they weren't. And I know that not all Democrats would go and, go outside of Brett Kavanaugh's house. Or perhaps they would not throw a Molotov cocktail in Wisconsin.
The debate over abortion rights in the United States is turning vicious. A Molotov cocktail was thrown at an anti-abortion group's office in Wisconsin. along with threatening graffiti scrawled across its walls. The debate sparked by a leaked document suggesting the Supreme Court would overrule a long-standing precedent that guaranteed access to abortions nationwide. Democrats in Congress are trying to rush through new laws to prevent it from happening.
Every American will see how every senator stands. They can't duck it anymore.
Pro-choice activists have been demonstrating in dozens of sites across the country.
Now, I had Matt pull that for a reason. That's from Down Under. Clearly, that was not Kyle Clark trying to do Crocodile Dundee. Actually, Matt, that was kind of funny. And our regular rim shot is back. That's great. No, what happened in Wisconsin over the weekend was international news. What must the world think? And I know it's very easy to say, I don't care what the world thinks. So here's more, and then we'll get to the entire Kavanaugh crap, and it just boils my blood.
The people, united, will never be defeated.
In Madison, Wisconsin, police say a Molotov cocktail thrown into the headquarters of an anti-abortion group, vandalized with a warning, spray painted on a wall. If abortions aren't safe, then you aren't either. And conservative Supreme Court justices facing fury. Protesters outside the D.C. area homes of the court's Chief Justice, John Roberts, as well as Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
We will not go back.
The Trump nominee promised senators Roe versus Wade was settled precedent to get confirmed to the nation's highest court. But now that leaked draft opinion shows Kavanaugh among 5 judges potentially poised to overturn that nearly 50-year precedent. It comes as new polls show nearly 2/3 of Americans want Roe kept in place. Those tensions playing out in protests across the country, Houston, Chicago, and the steps of the Supreme Court.
I'm here on Mother's Day because everyone should have a choice whether they become a mother or not.
And renewed attention on the states. 13 have trigger laws that would automatically restrict abortion. Among them, South Dakota, already among the most restrictive states for abortion access.
Some patients I have travel 300 miles to get here because we're the closest abortion center to them. We are the only one in the state.
For some women, they already are very much living a post-Roe life.
Women have less rights under this law than men do. How do you justify it?
What I would say, Chuck, is at the end of the day, there is no right to an abortion in the United States Constitution.
Meanwhile, the Senate's top Republican leaving the door open to a national abortion ban, saying in an interview, it's possible.
And Allie joins me now from the White House. So you just mentioned the Republican Senate leader, but Democrats are talking about moving on this issue as well.
Yeah, that's right, Kate. Democrats are forging ahead, trying to codify abortion protections at the federal level.
That from NBC over the weekend. So that went from the Molotov cocktail incident in Wisconsin to what happened over the weekend, not outside the walls of the United States Supreme Court building, not on the stairs. Go and protest. Lord knows over the decades, probably throughout your entire life, people have picked issues and people show up to protest. Well, that's what's great about our country. Most of the time, those that would protest outside the Supreme Court, I personally probably disagree with what they are protesting. I probably agree with why they're, the issue I would agree with is why they are mad. But when it goes and they take it to your home, now, of course, you know this, Supreme Court justices have security. Does that matter? Well, he's got security, so let's go send his address out on social media. Oh, they did that. This is outside of Brett Kavanaugh's home, I believe either yesterday or on Saturday.
We will not go back. 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 We will not go back.
These people are sick. They have no bottom. They have nothing like that whatsoever. It is, I don't know if you agree with me, frankly. I would hope that you do. But it is one thing to say you are a CEO of a company that is in a bunch of controversy. Your company is here in Denver. You live in the greater Denver metro area. And your company is doing what a lot of people say, as an example, don't want it to do. Well, it's one thing to go down to company headquarters and have your picket signs and walk back and forth, some idiot on a bullhorn, Colorado's biggest racist, Fat Tays down there protesting, whatever is going on. But it is a whole new ballgame when they take that to the CEO's greater Denver In Decay home. And, I don't know. I don't know. I can't say that I would be in favor of arresting these people. But it is just another example of the fact that there is no bottom. And this is only the beginning. You know this. If, in fact, the leak indicates what is to come next month, dealing with Roe v. Wade, I mean, I could see it almost being bigger than the summer of hell 2020 in that, I don't know, who doesn't have an opinion on abortion? And let's not forget, who shows up when the controversies get going? Who shows up? Well, many of you have told me on the air, off the air, in person, text, social media, phone calls, and emails. Well, we don't show up to things like this because why? What's the common denominator? Because we have jobs. We work. We're responsible. And let's face it, there is such a large, and it's larger than you would want it. Same with me. There's such a large faction of this country right now that just wants to cause trouble. I know that is very generic and boring to say, but that is the truth. They are just waiting for the next George Floyd. They are just waiting for the next opportunity to come out and burn, march, cause mayhem and havoc. So here's a kind of a looking forward idea that maybe you could put in your mind. I wonder what will happen, say, within the next 60 days or so, the hits the fan. Will we see the Chuck Schumers, the Nancy Pelosi's, Joe Biden, Jared Polis, Joe Neguse, Jason Crow, Diana DeGette? Will we see, and of course, Michael Bennett, the banjo player? Will we see them take that playbook one more time, where in the summer of hell 2020, not one of them said a thing? And sadly, I hope you would agree, because it is certainly plausible that within the next 60 days, if Roe is overturned, we are most certainly going to see unrest and mayhem. And you know what? I would bet a lot of money, if I were a betting man and had a lot of money, that they're not going to say a damn thing. Glad you were with us. I hope, again, you had a great Mother's Day weekend, and there are multiple ways to get in touch with this program. As always, our phone number, 303-696-1971, 303-696-1971. You can text to the studio via the free-to-download app. The website is 710knus.com/Steffan, and you can listen to live streaming audio, of course, commercial break free, via the app or the website. Social media, at Tubbs Show, TUBBS Show. I direct you to our Facebook page. There are more photos than what I tweeted out. If you are on social media, I hope you follow us, because a lot of times it's almost an accompaniment of things that I'm talking about on the air. So here's a prime example. Go to our Facebook page and look at what they put out over the weekend. Now, not trying to be, Mr. Nanny here, but I chose to black out Brett Kavanaugh's home address. But look at what they did and how they did it. Sadly, again, you are one bad mistake away from being doxxed yourself. You know what I'm saying? They don't like you. You do something. You're not immune. But what they did, there's even the document, because it's public record, when he has his home. The closing docs, it's public record. But they tweeted out his home address, and they're so proud of it. It is absolutely sickening. So you can see some of those pictures on the Facebook page right now. And welcome to those of you now maybe starting to get into our second week now of consistent YouTube simulcast. I say hi. You can go to the 710 KNUS YouTube channel. Hopefully you can subscribe there. You don't have to give any personal info or anything like that. But it's a way you can say what I'm drinking today, which is a McDonald's Diet Coke. Got that perfect fizz. You can see what I am wearing if you care. I personally, if I were you, I wouldn't. You can also probably tell did he take a shower today? Today I did. Sometimes when I wear a hat in here, maybe I didn't. Maybe. We'll take a phone call, then we will take our break. But after our phone call, get you a couple of the really cool, especially, holy mama, the Kentucky Derby. Did you see? Please tell me you did. And if you didn't, no problem. We are going to play some incredible audio from one of the most unbelievable Kentucky Derbies ever. And a little bit of basketball news as well. Let's get to our friend Artis, our first call of the new week. She's in Aurora. Good afternoon to you.
Well, hello, Steffan. First of all, the whole George Floyd thing drives me nuts because he died of a fentanyl overdose from everything I've read. And he took the
No,
fentanyl.
he died because of Derek Chauvin. That's why he died.
Yeah, no. But anyways, this whole abortion thing, I mean, obviously, given what I used to do as a nurse, it doesn't make sense to me at all. But don't these idiot protesters realize that states have already stepped up and said, okay, we aren't doing abortions in our state.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if the Supreme Court says anything. Each state, by our Constitution, has the right to say, no, we're not participating. That's all that happened. Unfortunately, we're in a stupid state that has allowed our governor to put stupid rules forward. So we'll be getting all kinds of people traveling in here, not just to ski, but to kill their babies.
100%. You are 100% right. And remember when I said last week, if you were with us, that Governor Polis conducted an interview with National Public Radio on Thursday. They played it Friday morning, and he is asked that specific question. Let's just say he did not indicate that others from outside states like, say, Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, and you know this, Artis, he didn't say to a national audience, well, no, we really don't want them to come. No, he wants to have this be a sanctuary state for abortions. And it's disgusting. And he never called it a baby, always said fetus.
Yeah, which to me, I mean, I learned in nursing school, a fetus is a developing human baby. Sorry, yes, it's called a fetus because it isn't out yet. That's the only reason. It absolutely breaks my heart that we have become so callous to, don't they think babies can feel things? Just because they're in the womb and you can't hear them screaming doesn't mean they're not screaming.
Let me ask you real quick, because we've got to get to a break, but I want to ask you your opinion on, this.
We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back.
So the question I have for you, and I'll pose it maybe to all of you listening, is what should, in your opinion, happen to those people who literally are outside across the sidewalk, but they're outside of, in this case, Brett Kavanaugh's home.
Well, I think they should at least have fines, if not spending a night or two in jail. But
what would you hold them for, though? Yeah, what would you hold them for? I'm not trying to. I'm just playing devil's advocate with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, isn't there a law against harassing Supreme Court justices?
Ooh, yeah, I don't know. Friend, thank you.
Neither do I.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Thank you, and I appreciate the call. Here's the thing: if you have enough people outside in a location, can you get them maybe on a technicality that it is you didn't permit for this? I don't know. I really don't. Okay, this makes me happy, and I hope you enjoy.
Zozos is next after 3/4 in 1 minute 10 and 4/5 seconds, and now Epicenter comes splitting horses and is moving up quickly as Crown Pride takes the lead around the far turn. It is Crown Pride battling with Messier. They're stride for stride. Epicenter and Zozos in behind them. Cyberknife swings up to the outside. Sandon gets the rail run, and they're into the stretch. And it's Messier, Crown Pride, and Epicenter is coming up on the outside. Epicenter has taken the lead as they arrive into the final furlong. Sandon is coming after him. Epicenter and Sandon, these two, stride for stride. Simplification down the outside is next. They're coming down to the wire. Epicenter, Sandon, Rich Strike is coming up on the inside. Oh my goodness, the longest shot has won the Kentucky Derby.
80 to 1. Epicenter and another, they were the favorites, 1-2. Well, they came in, but they were, place and show. So freaking cool.
Rich Strike has done it in a stunning, unbelievable upset.
Forget Rich Strike, Lightning Strike. That's one of the biggest upsets in the history of the Kentucky Derby. Friday morning at 8 a.m., this horse was not in the race. Eric Reed, the trainer, Sonny Leon, the jockey, have never been a part of the Derby, and they have won an unbelievably upset, shocking Kentucky Derby with Rich Strike.
Now, I probably should have played this earlier. So cool. Even if you don't like horse racing, then I can't convince you, but it was cool. And finally, before we go to the news and we'll get traffic and weather for you coming up, congratulations to the Joker.
Joker again from downtown. Got it!
Nikola Jokic, the Joker, his second straight MVP award in the NBA.
Green's already got one foul. Jokic reverse into the lane, and he puts it up and in.
And it should have been another foul. He reached in, and it didn't.
Our friends over there at Altitude. And listen, this guy, arguably, I don't even know. I think he is the best Denver Nugget of all time. It's just too bad that they can never get out of the first round of the playoffs. But the Joker, you follow basketball, he can do it all.
Give to Jokic. Jokic on the move. Pass it out to Green. Green for three. That's off the mark. Jokic volleyballs it out to Morris for three. Yes.
The guy's amazing. He became the first player to score 2,500 points, 1,300 boards, and 900 assists in one season. Congratulations to the Denver Nugget. We'll take a timeout when we come back. More of your phone calls. What would you do to the people that say went out to Johnny Choate's house a couple of years ago? Is there anything you can do? I mean, I know they've got the right to protest, but when you take it to someone's home, that is a whole new ballgame. We are off and running. Steffan Tubbs with you. News and traffic and weather coming up and more of your phone calls. Money Monday and a special Music Monday ahead. 710 KNUS.
How is it starting to get heavy?
Now, back to Steffan Tubbs, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Let's get to Bill in Parker. Again, if you're just joining us, what should be done, if anything, if people dox you and they show up like they did this weekend outside of the Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's house? Hi, Bill.
Yeah, hi, Stephen. Yeah, I don't think that's a good tactic. It's not laudable. It's puts a burden on the neighbors, and can be scary. It's not illegal if they don't trespass, make threats, damage property. But here's the problem, Stephen. You have unelected judges, and the unelected part isn't even the worst part. The worst part is they're unaccountable and they're there for life. So if you really disagree, like if you disagree with your congressman, your senator, you know what you can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get busy, you militate against them, you support their opponents, blah, 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 recall even maybe. What do you do with these judges when they do something that you find is completely beyond the pale? You have no recourse.
Mm-hmm. Well, you well here, and I'm not trying to go against, because I understand what you just said, but for decades, certainly in my entire life, if you are against what the Supreme Court is doing, you don't go to their home. You go to the Supreme Court building and you walk back and forth and you scream and you bring signs and maybe you bring a bullhorn, and that's what you do.
Yeah, I understand, but that comes down to venting, and in both cases they're venting. But in the second case, they're saying, going to the Supreme Court is just street theater, it gets you nothing. So we're going to step it up a notch and go to their homes. Again, I don't agree with that, but I kind of understand. I mean, it's going to the Supreme Court. All you're doing is venting. It serves no purpose.
Yeah.
So that's the frustration here. I think what would help would be term limits for Supreme Court judges, and probably have a super majority, a 60-vote majority to get on there, so they're not putting these flaming others. Oh, by the way, that's the other thing here.
Mm-hmm.
These three, there is no doubt that Coney Barrett, Kavanaugh, and Gorsuch lied through their teeth during the hearings. They flipping lied through their
Well, we
teeth.
played a
And I think that's
compilation.
part of it.
Yeah, we played a compilation of that last week. Bill, I got to run to another call. Thank you, and I appreciate it as always. 303-696-1971. This is what we're talking about if you're just clicking on. Outside of Brett Kavanaugh's house over the weekend.
We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back.
Now, it's one thing to chant. It's another thing to me completely to do it at somebody's home and to put the home address of a Supreme Court justice as public recordy as it is. You just don't do that. You just don't. And as I said in our opening segment, even you're one mistake away or doing something that they don't like, and they're going to dox your ass as well. Brandon in Aurora joins us. Welcome. And Money Monday coming up. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. I just wanted to mention a name. His name's Bernard Slepian. Are you familiar with that name?
I am not. That's why I didn't react.
He was the doctor in New York that was assassinated by sniper rifle in his kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, and my point is, people learn from other people. And if you're going to be killing these guys that are doing these abortions, I guess I wouldn't be shocked if they show up to someone's house also.
Is it the right thing, though? Do you have a problem with
no, it's definitely not. But the right has had a long time to correct this behavior, and they've done nothing. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with Eric Rudolph also.
Well,
he was a really bad person.
But what do you mean about what do you mean about the right has had a chance to correct this?
Well, this has been going on in that political community for quite some time.
What has gone on?
Violence towards people that think that abortion should be provided towards women.
Are you mixing up your sides here? I'm not following you. The people that were protesting are not people on the right outside of Kavanaugh's house.
Exactly. They're lefties. I don't disagree with you at all.
What is your overall point? I'm not following you.
The lefties have learned from the righties about how to play this game.
And your Slepian is your one answer, and that's all you got? What else? Name me a time when Well, there was a Molotov cocktail attack at a place in Wisconsin over the weekend.
Right.
That
and awful
wasn't done by the right.
And awful people did that.
I don't know. I'm trying to, as best I can, understand you, but are you saying, I don't know, help me.
Well,
It's like you're going tisk, tisk, tisk. Well, they shouldn't have. I mean, is that how you want to come across?
I would say this to you, that murder is a pretty serious thing to do to anyone.
Well, I would agree.
There have been many anti-abortionists that have murdered people over this issue.
So is this just okay with you then? Is that the bottom line? Is that the bottom line?
As long as if the right wing doesn't address those people and stop them, then yes. Even the guy in Colorado Springs that got into that clinic and all of his damage. I mean, it's even happened in our backyard.
Okay, thank you. How about we agree to disagree? I mean, you're saying, well, if they did this, then, well, what do we expect them to do that? I don't agree with that type of thinking. So thank you. I appreciate it. We will take a time out coming up. Money Monday with David Fisher. Good Lord, friends. The Dow down, as Blake was just mentioning, about 654. NASDAQ down 521. S&P down 132. What in the wide, wide world of the Kentucky Derby is going on here? Holy cow. David Fisher next.
Talk 710. Update.
Beautiful day up and down the Front Range. We have traffic and weather coming up. Gas prices jumped a nickel over the weekend. AAA puts today's new national average at $4.32 a gallon. That's up 20 cents in the past month. Colorado's average is $4.05, with GasBuddy.com saying the lowest price in the metro area is $3.73 at Costco on South Havana in Aurora and Sam's Club on South Abilene in Aurora. Colorado Parks and Wildlife tweeting that there have been 4 vessels on the reservoir at Cherry Creek State Park today conducting the recovery operation. The search for the missing person in the water continues, and crews are working tirelessly to recover the 29-year-old man who went missing on Saturday after riding an inner tube being pulled by a boat. Today, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis established November 7th as Victims of Communism Day to honor those who have suffered under communism and remind people of the destruction communism has caused worldwide, including a death toll exceeding 100 million. In Florida, the governor said they will tell the truth about communism. Stocks are sharply lower on Wall Street. The S&P 500 fell below 4,000 to its lowest level in a year as big tech got hammered. The Dow lost 653 points. The S&P fell 132 points, and the NASDAQ dropped 521 points to 11,623. And the Avalanche can sweep the Predators tonight in the first round of the NHL playoffs. They dropped the puck at 7:30. It's game 4 tonight. Steffan continues in a couple of minutes. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Drive along I-25, getting heavier both sides of the highway, downtown area. Now there's a stall south on I-25 before Spear. Working on the shoulder there, crowded back to I-70. Had a crash on that northbound side. That is gone. Now the wreck up near 6th Avenue. Northbound I-25, pretty busy from Lincoln Broadway up into downtown. 270 starting to load up across Commerce City. I-70 getting heavier, as well as that 225 drive. Now there's a crash causing a delay. Santa Fe south of Mineral, and a problem at First and Wadsworth. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag.
Brisk winds, partly cloudy through the rest of your Monday. Temperatures warm, mid to upper 70s, breezy and gusty west winds. Lows tonight near 40 degrees. Highs will be near 80 Tuesday and sunny. Lows Tuesday night, upper 40s. Highs will be well into the 80s Wednesday and windy. Thursday will be cooler. Could see a couple of scattered thunderstorms. Thursday's highs cooling to the 70s. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty, now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. Colorado Flat Fee Realty.com. I'm meteorologist Don Day on 710 KNUS.
As prices continue to rise, don't turn to your credit cards to pay for everything. Hi, Steffan Tubbs for Town Group Mortgage. You know, paying off your debt now is really more important than ever. If you're a homeowner and you need cash, call my friends at the Town Group. If you're a business owner with large write-offs or self-employed, no W-2s, give Melissa at the Town Group just 5 minutes to hear your story. They specialize in jumbo loans for the self-employed for your current, next, or forever home. Now, the silver lining is with skyrocketing home values, you can now maybe unlock equity that you hadn't had before. It's perfect for, say, doing summer projects or maybe taking a vacation. Don't let inflation and credit card debt eat away at your lifestyle. If other lenders have said no, give Melissa, again, just a few minutes. If you've got the equity, she can likely get you into a loan. Call them today before you get priced out of the market. 833-MY-JUMBO. That's 833-MY-JUMBO or online, towngroupmortgage.com.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text RON to 99799 and I'll send you my free training. I promise I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text RON to 99799 and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's RON to 99799. Again, text RON to 99799.
Fact, our bodies are under attack every day. Whether it's COVID, vaccines, the air we breathe, the water we drink, and even the food we eat, we are constantly trying to keep up with the Colorado weather, fighting off stress and inflammation. But there's a solution. C60 Complete. C60 Complete is a scientist-formulated, doctor-approved antioxidant supplement that helps you achieve a longer, healthier, and happier life. Do what I'm doing to improve my health and go to purebellavita.com. That's purebellavita.com to get your monthly supply today.
The following segment has been paid for by Landmark Capital.
Now, back to Steffan Tubbs, News Talk 710, KNUS.
We did, I think, in 2020, right around this time, we did do a Music Monday. Don't like to repeat, but there you go. DJ Matt spinning the Little Richard tunes, taking some of you back, perhaps to your childhood when that was the music of the day. And oh, how popular. It is time. You know what's unpopular is looking at anything to do with Wall Street right now. I tell you probably once a week over the last month, you might not want to check your 401k balance. It is time for Money Monday with our friend David Fisher from Landmark Capital, online, of course, landmarkgold.com, where you can give them a call. Call David and his team and diversify. 877-448-2646. That's 877-448-2646. Brother man, happy Monday to you. Man, another horrible day.
Yeah, the market's saying good golly. And I think you want to check your 401k. So if you can go to cash, that might be the way to go right now.
Yeah.
At least that's what the billionaires are saying. So, but we'll get into that. But yeah, the markets are just not doing well.
So,
Red.
yeah, what is causing this? Is it the same old thing that obviously is very important, but you know, every week it seems for the last month or so, we're looking at numbers. I think that we're looking at a period that certainly it's been years since overall all three indices have been like this.
Same story, different day, more downturn. Yes, it's the Fed. It's more the Fed now than the uncertainty of Russia and COVID in China. It's more the Fed. The uncertainty that they're bringing to the market. I mean, my gosh, the Dow is down 9% year to date. S&P just broke through a support level on Friday, and it broke through another one, a major one today. So Apple's, I don't watch individual stocks, but if Apple and Microsoft, if Apple goes down below 150 is the numbers, is at 152. Microsoft, it broke through the support at 270, it's at 264. If Apple does its move downward, you're going to see some more indexes, the index come down. It's just, I mean, we're the longest losing streak in 10 years, 6 weeks straight, the Dow dropping. Stocks are going to see more. I said this before. I said this in January. I said this in December. It is the environment. We're going to see a downturn. We're seeing it. This is not something you want to just play around and then hope for the best. This is going to be a slow bleed. Everything I'm reading, Steffan says, the big money is saying this is going to be a slow bleed, and you don't want to mess around this market.
And let me just dovetail off that. Again, our guest is always this time on Monday, David Fisher. Landmarkgold.com is the website. Be sure to get their information packet if you haven't yet. Maybe you listen to David every Monday and you hear him every week. Maybe this is the impetus to get to the website, landmarkgold.com, or give them a call, 877-448-2646. Here's what I was just going to say after what you had just alluded to. A lot of times people will tell you, this is a good time to buy. You know what? I find that really right now, I wouldn't be thinking that this is the bottom and then try to buy, on the down, because if you had done that 2 months ago, you see what I'm saying? If you had done that 2 months ago, you would have been down even more now. So it's very difficult. Obviously, you can never time the market, but it's just, I find that quite interesting that so many people that usually say, well, this is a good time to buy, you're not hearing that.
Yeah, there's a 78-year-old fund manager just came out. His name is David Wright. He's been known for, doing well during downward movements in the market, and he's broke even this year while most of the indexes are down. He just came out and said we're in the biggest bear market of his life. And he went on to say that the U.S. and U.S. investors have bet so much on their net worth of stocks, no other than any other country in the world. But right now, we are at a very big peak of complacency. And he's saying this is something you don't want to fight right now. So that's what a big boy who's worth a lot of money, that's his market, saying that. And I'm not anti-stocks. I love the stock market, but it's not a place you want to be in for the short term if you're going to retire here in the next 5 years or something like that.
Yeah, we will ask you, of course, as always, what's the latest in the past week with the gold and silver market. Again, David Fisher, landmarkgold.com. You can also get their free white paper as well as an info packet. The coming bail-in is the white paper. Landmarkgold.com, 877-448-2646. You alluded to it a little bit. The billionaires, fund managers, you had just indicated, he hasn't seen anything like that in his lifetime, the biggest bear market. I don't think they're trying to time this right now.
No, Morgan Stanley just came out and said, we live in the most chaotic, hard to predict macroeconomic times in decades. Goldman trader just said, if the state of this market is to bleed to lower levels. That's the title of these articles. Here's another Goldman head, Tony Pasquarelli. He says the rally is nothing but a huge bear market squeeze. Stocks will be going lower. I keep going on. Here's Bruno Rosa. He says, we are nowhere near the bottom. He's one of the top economists. Peter Grandrich, he says the situation is beyond the Fed's control. The recession is unstoppable. So, this is not something you want to play around in. I could quote a whole bunch of other people. We don't have time, but there's a big sentiment saying this is going to go much slower.
Yeah. So you put the bullseye kind of on the Fed. Will it be able to say, come in for a soft landing, or are we looking at, I guess, to use the analogy, it ain't going to be pretty?
It ain't going to be pretty. Ray Dalio, he's the billionaire hedge fund. He said It's the greatest time since the 1970s of the Fed dilemma. Eric Peters, hedge fund manager, says we're on our own. We don't have a safety net. The Fed's gone. It's a sobering reality. Here's a quote. I like this quote. Check this out. James Ashley, he says this. It's like the Fed is attempting to land a B-52 bomber on a piece of string.
Oof.
In other words, they're not going to come close.
Yeah.
So we're so far off on the interest rates of the Fed, 0.75%, and the CPI number at 8.5%. They should be really close. Put into perspective, Steffan, in 1970s when we peaked out, and it was the Fed fund rate at 19%, the CPI number at 8%. The gap is 8% difference right now. It's just huge. They got to raise rates substantially. They're not going to do that. So we're going to play around with inflation. This market's going to be this way for months and months, maybe a couple of years. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. David Fisher, landmarkgold.com. Find him on YouTube as well, Landmark Capital. You can subscribe there, see their videos as well. Again, their number, 877-448-2646. I wish I could come on this Monday with you and say, man, thank goodness, you're in gold and silver right now, because we've seen a pullback there as well. Should we be concerned about that?
Well, the dollar is up 7.5% year to date, which is just unheard of. That's like the Dow going up 5,000 points, a dollar move like that. So currency is different than point system and an index. With that, the dollar up that much, gold should be down 20, 25, 30%. It's up 1.8%. And that's why don't always go by the index, because the index is a paper market, which the physical. So think of a pyramid, the little peak of the pyramid. That's just the physical market, a small piece of the bigger market of gold. Most of the gold market is a paper market. It's getting hit because the dollar's getting strong. But the physical gold market is actually going up. Some are not going down, some are going up, and some are going up really well year to date this year. So not all stocks are the same. Not all real estate is the same, and not all gold and silver is the same. And this is why they're saying once this thing does turn around, in the index of gold, that is, you're going to see some big movements in the physical market. So now's the time to be learning about that. See if you want to get some position in it. There's no pressure, no obligation, none of that. We're just here to help.
Well, the kind of to dovetail off of that, it's interesting. I mean, this could be the time for a lot of people to say, get into whether it's physical coins or what have you. Boy, just to have that diversification, because as you know, we always talk with David Fisher about, he's not telling you get out of the stock market and put it all in gold and silver. Diversification is the key. This, I'm wondering if in the final minute or so we've got, if this type of environment on Wall Street, if this is really triggering that you're seeing at your company, people that maybe have never even thought about gold and silver, they're now giving you guys a call.
Well, yeah, absolutely. The volume is significant. This reminds me of 2000 when the dot-com bubble burst and gold went on a huge run. It went over 300% in 7 years, 8 years. This reminds me of of other times in the 70s when I was involved in the market. But I'll leave it at this. Peter Grandich, I quoted him. He says, the only market I want to risk capital in for capital appreciation is the gold market. And that's not even his market. He's a paper guy. So there's a big movement going towards gold right now. Check it out.
Brother, I don't know what's going to be in store the next 7 days until I talk with you, but we'll cover it all with you. As always, thank you so much.
Hopefully we'll get some green here. I don't like so much red, but thank you.
I hear you. David Fisher, Landmark Gold, landmarkgold.com. And the number, 877-448-2646, Money Monday, about 3:40 every Monday with David, landmarkgold.com. When we come back, talking charter schools with, well, a guy that knows about it. He's the president of the Colorado League of Charter Schools. You taking your kids out of public? That's next.
The Western Conservative Summit is one of the largest annual gatherings of conservatives in the Western United States. Thousands of attendees, over 100,000 viewers online. I'm Jeff Hunt. Join us June 3rd and 4th at the Gaylord Rockies Resort and Convention Center in Denver, Colorado.
This year's summit features former Trump press secretaries Kayleigh McEnany, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, and many more. Get tickets today at 710knus.com.
Hi, it's George Brockler. I love referring friends and listeners to Gay Ribble, the Ribble Group, Keller Williams Realty DTC. I've gotten to know her, and she is fantastic. That's why I strongly suggest that you call Gay Ribble when it's time to sell your home. Recently, Gay was telling me about a family who wanted to take advantage of this incredible seller's market, and it is incredible, before it changes. The challenge was they were building a new home, and they didn't want to make a double move. So Gay was able to let her clients sell and stay in their current home for the extra 10 months needed. That's amazing. The Ribble Group's Sell Your Home and Stay in Your Home program will let you stay in your home for up to 12 months. To learn more about the Sell and Stay guarantee, call the only one I trust, Gay Ribble and the Ribble Group at 833-301-SOLD. That's 833-301-SOLD, or visit Gay, spelled Gaye, hasthebuyers.com. That's gayhasthebuyers.com.
Ew, Dad, why are toenails so ugly and yellow?
Hey, it's James, and if you're like me and suffer from toenail fungus, please pay close attention. Let's face it, toe fungus is embarrassing. I was afraid to take my socks off and hid my yellowing, crumbly toes from everybody. But nail fungus isn't just a cosmetic problem. It can also be dangerous. Even a small spot can spread and get worse. But no matter what I tried, it seemed like my fungus would never go away. Then I discovered Crystal Flush, the new FDA-registered at-home treatment. This unique two-step system flushes out fungus at its source and reverses damaged nails. Finally, me and thousands of others are free from fungus. And you can be too. Call now, and for a limited time, you can try Crystal Flush risk-free for 30 days. Call 800-764-9219. That's 800-764-9219. Eliminate your toe fungus once and for all, guaranteed. Call now, 800-764-9219, or visit crystalflush.com.
Hey guys, the Royal Management Team has gathered you here in Yield Conference Room to announce that thanks to all your hard work, the granary has enjoyed record profits this year. Nice. That said, there still isn't room in the budget for raises, but we will be providing gift cards to Grimwald's Tavern. Really? I'm sorry, I've been informed they are actually coupons, not gift cards.
Throughout history, people have always been underpaid. That's why Monster lets you search jobs by salary. Find your job at monster.com or download the app.
News, traffic, weather, and the latest on Ukraine. News Talk 710, KNUS, Denver. The news now.
72 degrees and sunny on Monday at 4 o'clock on your drive home. Traffic and weather is coming up. You may remember that triple homicide north of Green Valley Ranch in April. Today, Denver police announced that a suspect was arrested in connection to the crime. We'll learn more in a few minutes as a press conference is about to take place. Here's KNUS First Alert traffic.
New crash backing up the Aurora Drive is northbound 225 before I-70, working on the shoulder. You're crowded back to 6th Avenue. I-25 starting to get busy. You head up toward the downtown area, both directions. Our minor wreck still working northbound I-25 past 6th Avenue, jams to Broadway. I'm Susan Thielen.
Report is sponsored by Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag.
Still a bit breezy. Lows tonight near 40 degrees under clear to partly cloudy skies. Tuesday will be warm. High 75 to 80. Southeast winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour by afternoon. Lows Tuesday night in the upper 40s. Wednesday partly cloudy, quite warm. Breezy south winds. Highs well into the 80s. Cooling to the 70s Thursday. A front coming through may trigger a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist on day 710. KNUS.
Thanks, Don. 72 degrees right now. This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com. President Biden has signed a bill designed to speed up the process of getting U.S. military aid to Ukraine. The bipartisan measure also expands Biden's authority to expedite agreements with Ukraine and other Eastern European nations. The governor of Wisconsin says a suspected arson at an anti-abortion office is a horrible incident. Tony Evers called for arrests in the fire at the Wisconsin Family Action Office over the weekend. Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets named the NBA MVP again for the second straight year. And the Avalanche in the playoffs, NHL first round, looking to sweep the Preds tonight at 7:30 as they drop the puck there. Steffan Tubbs Show continues right here on this Monday afternoon. We'll have that press conference coming up and more information from the Denver police on that triple homicide from April. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Now, back to Steffan Tubbs, News Talk 710, KNUS.
A charter school with the way things are going in our public schools and public education. Some of you may not have a choice. I'm not saying it's not available to you. I'm saying, well, you work here, you live there, the kids are here and their friends are here, and well, you just got to put up with the teachers and their curriculum, most importantly. So we'll talk about that with our guest, Dan Schaller, coming up in mere moments. Blake just mentioned the Denver Police Department is, in fact, as we speak, holding a press conference with an update on that Green Valley Ranch murder, the triple homicide, which included the shooting multiple times. This little boy was shot, just 4 years old. Can we go to that now, Matt? Let's go live to the Denver Police press conference, and we'll get to our guest in mere moments. Question off mic now.
It is when we see a kid involved in this. You know, we talk about motive and adults and the violence between adults, but there's a kid here, so it takes a toll on the community, and I'm sure police officers as well.
It's brutal for everybody involved, and I will tell you that one is really tough for officers to see. You know, we spend a lot of time with resiliency, and especially when officers are exposed to something like that. Just like the community, we want to make sure that they're getting all the resources they need to help them process through that. So there's no explaining it. I don't think there's anybody in this room or in this community that can explain something that horrific when it involves a small child. Okay, thank you much.
Well, I didn't get a lot there. We went in as soon as we could, and Blake will have an update coming up. And if there's hopefully what they were announcing is an arrest. I don't have that information right now, but this was such. I mean, all homicides are bad. We see them all the time, especially here in the greater Denver In Decay area. But there is something about a 4-year-old child. Even if it was a meth house, I'm saying as a complete example, I have no idea what was going on in that apartment a few weeks ago. But as you know, an adult male, an adult female, and a 4-year-old little boy were all shot to death multiple times. And again, if they were involved in nefarious activities, if they were killing other people because they were pushing fentanyl, as an example, I don't care. That 4-year-old had nothing to do with it. And I know that we've talked about that a lot on the program, and we will continue. We'll get more coming up as to the reason for the press conference from the Denver Police Department. Let's see. Well, let's get into it. There is not seemingly a public gathering that I go to, whether it is, I haven't been to a cocktail party in a while, but if it's a cocktail party, or a gathering at the ball field or a soccer game, there's a pretty damn good chance that at some point, if you are among parents and say you got a while to chat, you've talked about the weather, you've talked about maybe, I don't know if you dip into politics, but then you start talking about education. And this week, as mentioned, is National Charter School Week, and the president of the Colorado League of Charter Schools, Dan Schaller, is joining us on the newsline. Dan, welcome back to the program. Good to have you, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Nice to talk to you.
Tell us about this week.
Yeah, so this is a National Charter Schools Week, as you say, which is our annual opportunity to celebrate the opportunities that charter schools represent for students all across our country, but here in Colorado in particular, we've got a lot to celebrate. We've had a terrific year. We've been recognized for our academic success, where 10 of the top 15 public high schools in our state are charter schools at this point in time. 9 of the top 20 public middle schools are also charter schools. And that all comes against the backdrop of Coloradans continuing to support charter schools. Specifically, we now have 134,000 students across the state who are attending charter schools, which is about 15% of our public school population. Which makes us, if we were our own school district, we would be significantly larger than the largest school district in the state, Denver Public Schools, which has about 90,000 students. And so what we've continued to see in the 30 years that charter schools have been in existence in the public education landscape in Colorado is continued demand to the point where, again, we're now serving over 130,000 students.
Tell me why you see this from your position. Why the uptick?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fundamental premise behind charter schools is for them to be flexible and for them to be responsive. They are public schools, so they're subject to the same standards and accountability as all other public schools in the state. They're paid for with taxpayer dollars. They're open to all students, but they do have flexibility to create more innovative programming. And that has enabled them, particularly in this pandemic environment, to be very responsive to their communities. And I think that has shown itself, a couple years ago in the height of the pandemic, the public school system lost about 30,000 students across the state of Colorado. But in public charter schools, we actually saw a 5,000 student increase. And I think a lot of that has to do with the responsiveness and the flexibility with which charter schools were able to respond to the specific needs of their communities.
Dan Schaller is the president of the Colorado League of Charter Schools. I'm going to tell you, brother, you're being too kind. So let me be a little mean. They are fed up with boards of education. They are fed up with, as you mentioned, the pandemic, and this school is wearing them. That school is not. You have school that's out, and then you come back and you better wear your mask, and then we're going to leave again because there was a positive test. I mean, people, I don't know if you can go so far as to say one of the reasons for the increase in enrollment in charter schools, specifically here in Colorado, is people, damn it, were absolutely, and still many of them remain, fed up.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to be said for the way our traditional public education system works and the way it tends to try to handle things in a one-size-fits-all fashion, which can make it very hard for them to adjust to the unique circumstances that an individual school community is facing. And so oftentimes we're left in a situation where we're trying to make district-wide decisions for an entire set of schools when really the impacts might be down to an individual school. And that is one thing that charter schools represent, and they're able to be nimble and flexible when it comes to the interests and demands of their specific parent community.
Let's go to really some real basic 101 of charter schools here in Colorado. For parents that potentially are listening, maybe there are parents right now that, the school year is wrapping up and they don't want their Johnny or Janie to go through what they've gone through, say, most recently in this past school year. Who is eligible? How do you get involved? Tell a parent that may not know.
Yeah, so I think the first and most important thing to recognize, which often gets lost in the shuffle, is that charter schools are public schools. By that, I mean they are tuition free, they are open to all students, and so anyone is eligible to try to attend a charter school. Our website, coloradoleague.org, has a link to all the different charter schools in the state if people find that of interest. But as I said, charter schools have the ability to be more flexible and responsive to individual community needs, which has translated into a number of different school models across the state. You've got STEM charter schools that are focused on science and technology, engineering, and math. You've got other charter schools that have been specifically set up for pregnant and parenting teens. You've got other charter schools that are Montessori focused, other charter schools that have a classical education model. So really, our kids aren't all the same, and our schools shouldn't be either. And charter schools over the last 30 years in Colorado have really risen up to meet that demand and to create a bunch of different educational models that fit individual student and individual family needs.
Were there, we got a couple of, I'd say a couple. We probably get a couple a week at minimum during the height of the pandemic from parents of kids in charter schools. And I think the common denominator always was, well, this district is implementing this. You got to wear masks. This district is saying that 3 schools are closed, et cetera. I can't tell you how many over, the course of at least a year, kind of at the height of the pandemic, that, well, my charter school is open. Was there something that was implemented during the pandemic, mask or no mask, that kept charter schools from shutting down?
No, I think it was more, again, as I said, sort of that ability to be responsive to unique community needs. And we did have charter schools across the state that handled the pandemic in very different ways. Mm-hmm. But I think the difference is that rather than having a one-size-fits-all rule that applied across an entire set of schools across an entire district, I mean, talk about Denver Public Schools, 90,000 students is a lot of different students to try to implement a one-size-fits-all approach across the entire system. And so charter schools, by nature of how they exist and the independent governing boards that they have, are able to make unique decisions at the school-based level. And I think a lot of that played out with how different charter schools chose to handle the pandemic.
What do you see moving forward? Do you see just exponential growth? Where do you see it?
Yeah, I do think we're continuing to be in a position of strength because of a lot of the fundamental aspects of what charter schools are. And not to sound like a broken record here, but really that ability to create unique models that fit unique students is not something that's going to be changing anytime soon. I think part of the struggle of our traditional public education system is that it tries to treat all of our children the same when our children have very different needs and very different interests. And I think the charter school system over the last 30 years and the ways it has continued to grow has shown that it is able to respond to the individual needs of our students. And so I'm incredibly optimistic about the continued ability of the charter school system to innovate to meet the continued demands of our students and families.
The website is coloradoleague.org, coloradoleague.org, and our guest is the president of the Colorado League of Charter Schools, Dan Schaller. Let's in the moments we have left with you, let's talk about moving forward, I'm not trying to put you into a corner, but you've got to have, maybe anecdotally, can you share? There was a parent that didn't like the way it was going, whether it was a school board issue, members of the Board of Education, or how the pandemic was, or a combination of both. I'm sure that at least anecdotally, you can share a story of a Colorado parent that normally would go through the traditional, public education, but they decided to go the charter route and they couldn't be happier.
Yeah, well, I think that really what you're getting at, Steffan, is spoken to in the fact that 5,000 families, so not one individual family, but 5,000 families chose to enroll in charter schools in the midst of the pandemic, while at the same time so many others were leaving the traditional system. And I think that more than anything speaks to the continued value that people have recognized in the different ways charter schools have handled the situation.
Let me get to a portion of a text that just came in, a couple of questions, but I want to know first, because I need to know where you feel or what you feel about, for example, critical race theory. Critical race theory, do you believe that is being implemented in any way, shape, or form in traditional public schools right now?
I mean, I think you'd have to look at individual schools for those particular situations. I think the beauty and the benefit of charter schools, as I said, is that they are able to create unique learning environments and unique situations that are responsive to the needs of their communities and to the needs of their families. And oftentimes charter schools have, as part of those independent governing boards I spoke to before, they often have parents of the community that are part of those boards. And that is a critical determination and a critical factor in determining what the unique educational programming that is being offered in those schools is.
Well, yeah, I mean, no offense, but that really wasn't an answer to my question. Is there a specific point in charter schools that they are not going to implement what many of us on the outside, of course, they're going to deny it, but many of us see as this CRT or, all of the transgender, what we've seen in Florida, et cetera. I'm on your side. I'm just wondering if a parent listening, they've had it with CRT, they've had it with, a transsexual coming into the library to read a book. I'm just wondering if there is a marked difference between you guys and traditional what we've seen.
I think I would point people back to kind of to our website and taking a look at the very different models.
We got to drop it. Let's see if we can get him back. I really wanted to know the answer to that. I apologize, friends. You just never know. I can tap dance while we see if we can get him back. I have a sneaking suspicion it's not Dan's line. It's probably internal. This text came in. Does he know about a new rule coming out of Washington about charter schools having to pledge to an agenda to get federal funding? I wish I could remember better details of whether it was an executive order or something coming out of national education, but I remember thinking that it would destroy some of these basics, first charter schools, by making them teach the national agenda or CRT and sexual education. It's a no-go. Tell you what, because it's live, we will take a timeout. If we can get Dan back on the other side to answer that question, we will. If not, we apparently just, we move on. It is Monday. What you need is a vacation. And maybe you have thought about post-pandemic, we need to have a blowout, or just, how about just take if you go on vacation once a year, get with my trusted friends at Highlands Ranch Travel. Yeah, you can do it all online, but if you're old school like me when it comes to, I like to talk to somebody that's been there, get some recommendations, maybe recommendations, don't do this, but do that. I even like looking at across the desk from someone, show me some brochures. I'd love to see it. You will get the personal touch from my friends at Highlands Ranch Travel. They have helped me over the past 15 plus years do business travel as well as some terrific vacations I've been blessed to take. They book a broad portfolio of trips around the world for every kind of traveler. You get one-of-a-kind experiences. Then you're able to bring those amazing memories home. Sit down with the team at Highlands Ranch Travel. discuss your dream vacations. They can help you plan. Even if, say, you're going to Europe, they can tell you all the requirements, and you have 24-hour assistance while you are on the road. Online, it's HR for Highlands Ranch, TVL for travel, hrtvl.com. That's hrtvl.com, or 303-791-2311. 303-791-2311. You can book your appointment with a travel specialist. They, of course, would love to meet you in person and get your vacation going. Don't wait, too. The summer's going to be here right around the corner. Again, Highlands Ranch Travel, they're terrific. Marcy and her staff, I trust them. I think you should as well. And once again, you don't have to be in Highlands Ranch. You don't have to be a Douglas County resident. They can do stuff on the phone as well. But if you're old school like me, go with a trusted team, hrtvl.com.
Northbound I-25 running slow from University and up to I-70. We're going to pass a minor wreck near 6th Avenue on the shoulder and a stall up near I-70. That's been cleared. Minor crash in the Aurora Drive on northbound 225 up near I-70. Slow back toward Alameda. I'm Susan Thielen.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
The Western Conservative Summit is one of the largest annual gatherings of conservatives in the Western United States. Thousands of attendees, over 100,000 viewers online. I'm Jeff Hunt. Join us June 3rd and 4th at the Gaylord Rockies Resort and Convention Center in Denver, Colorado.
This year's summit features former Trump press secretaries Kayleigh McEnany, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, and many more. Get tickets today at 710knus.com.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to MediShare for their healthcare, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And MediShare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. MediShare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 844-57-BIBLE. That's 844-57-BIBLE, 844-57-BIBLE.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. Nina Jankowicz, nominated to head a new Orwellian-sounding disinformation governance board, a board created to, quote, coordinate countering misinformation, unquote, is clearly intended to chill the expression of ideas the administration opposes. That cannot stand. The First Amendment is clear. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. The right to speak is inseparable from the right to think. Some 80 years ago now, Justice Robert Jackson wrote the opinion striking down a law requiring students to pledge allegiance to the flag. Quote, if there is any fixed star in our constitutional constellation, it is that no official can prescribe what shall be orthodox in matters of opinion, unquote. I'm convinced that any disinformation governance board is unconstitutional. Nina Jankowicz would do well to take note. I'm Carol Platt-Liebau.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu. Hello, Colorado. It's mowing season. If you live in, near, or around Castle Rock, there's a place for you to get your mowers, trimmers, and other power equipment serviced and running great. Small Engine Masters in Castle Rock can make your equipment run better than it did when it was new. They can work on just about every kind of power equipment out there. So protect your investment. Small Engine Masters will sharpen your mower blade for free. Limit one set per customer. So come on down and see them today at 1577 Park Street, or call them at 720-301-8141, or go to smallenginemasters.com.
Are you wondering what you can do to have a direct impact on the war on drugs and homelessness in Colorado? George Brockler here. If you have a vehicle you're not using, consider donating your vehicle to Step Denver to give men the opportunity for a safe, sober, structured place to call home as they work to recover and rebuild their lives. If you have a car, truck, RV, or boat, contact Step Denver today. For a free tow, hassle-free, call 303-296-9020 or visit visit stepdenver.org. That's 303-296-9020 or stepdenver.org.
News Talk 710 KNUS. Listen live on Odyssey. Now, back to Steffan Tubbs. News Talk 710 KNUS.
Apologize. Look, when it craps out, it craps out. Apparently some phone issues, and I do want to thank Dan Schaller for joining us, the president of the Colorado League of Charter Schools. Interesting uptick. As he mentioned, 10 of the top 15 public high schools in Colorado, charter schools. 9 of 20 public middle schools, charter schools. When you have time, if you want to go completely negative, which is pretty easy to do these days, check out the graduation rates right now of high schoolers. Just pick a district. Check out the, say, age range of students who are at grade level reading, grade level math. I mean, don't even try to complicate the matter by saying, can they find Afghanistan on a map? And no offense, because I'm not talking about you, but I would assume probably 80% of Americans could not correctly identify where the hell Afghanistan is on a map, or Iraq, or Turkey, or pick a country, maybe even Ukraine. Today is May 9th, as you know, and I guess the latest from Ukraine, President Vladimir Putin was promising something big today. We're really going to go big on celebrate. It's a victory parade. You know, right now, here's the fact. Russia can't celebrate anything. God only knows how many, perhaps tens of thousands of Russian soldiers are dead. You know how I feel about the sovereign nation of Ukraine. No, not perfect, but they invaded. How many innocent women and children are displaced as we speak, part of 8-10 million refugees? I still have yet to hear a lifting of the, if you are between 18 and 60 and you're a male, just go ahead and leave. No, I haven't heard that lifted yet. What is going on there? And now, because it is traditionally like this, and we're as guilty, if it's a matter of innocence or guilt, we're as guilty as anybody. Hell, the first month plus, our show was dominated by the war. Now it's just like, yeah, it sucks. And that's just sadly, that is the news cycle. But today, May 9th, and what is normally May 9th, of course, with VE Day, the anniversary of the victory in Europe in World War II just yesterday. Well, I don't think that Russia has anything to celebrate. So ominous. It's crazy. Here's Putin with an interpreter.
Уважаемые граждане России,
the citizens of Russia, the veterans,
товарищи солдаты и матросы,
soldiers and Navy officers, sergeants,
мичманы и прапорщики, товарищи офицеры, генералы и адмиралы.
Officers, generals, admirals.
Поздравляю вас с днем Великой Победы.
I congratulate you on Victory Day.
Защита Родины, когда решалась ее судьба, всегда были священны.
When our nation's fate was decided, will always be a sacred memory.
За отечество ополченцы Минина и Пожарского шли в атаку на Бородинском поле, бились с врагом под Москвой и Ленинградом.
He's listing areas where there was particularly heavy fighting: Moscow, Kiev, Minsk.
Putin earlier today, May 9th, is known as Victory Day in Russia. It marks the defeat of Nazi Germany on this date in 1945. As mentioned yesterday, VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, VJ Day would come obviously later, not too many weeks later, a couple of months later in World War II. The latest from the situation in the war-torn area.
Ukrainian officials say Russians bombed a school over the weekend where civilians were seeking shelter. They estimate at least 60 people were killed in the blast. CBS News has seen multiple examples of indiscriminate bombing in Ukraine, resulting in civilian deaths. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, in his own speech, says Russia's Victory Day will someday become Ukraine's Victory Day.
President Biden is prepared to sign a new bill into law this afternoon, which will allow the U.S. to lend or lease Ukraine weapons for its defense.
That from CBS News.
A senior defense official says Mariupol continues to take Russian airstrikes, but the Ukrainians are still resisting. Elsewhere, the Russians have all but stalled in their advances. The Ukrainians continue to mount a strong defense of Kharkiv, and that's preventing Russian troops from moving south into the Donbass to encircle Ukrainian forces. More U.S. assistance continues to flow in, while this official says the Russians are having inventory problems.
From the Pentagon, our partners at CBS News, of course, we will continue to follow the situation there as what are we, at least into the third month. It's sad that I can't even remember, and I'm a news junkie. Still bad. But there was nothing to celebrate today. They can celebrate all they want, the victory over Nazi Germany in 1945 on this date. They thought, remember how easily, from all the different sources a couple months back when they began to invade Ukraine, they thought this was going to be maybe not a cakewalk. And I read something like, and I could be off by a few, but I'm right in the ballpark. I read yesterday more than 40, maybe it's more than 35 colonels in the Russian military have died so far in the war. And they never got Kiev or Kyiv and Mariupol, as you heard, and the deaths of children is just terrible. Speaking of the deaths of children, I don't want to step on Blake in the newsroom, but I do want to make the announcement that at the top of the hour, we took you live to just the very ending of the Denver Police Department press conference. We have made a big deal because, damn it, we should. And I make no apologies for talking about Denver In Decay, the greater Denver In Decay area, violence in this city, the shootings, the assaults, the hit and runs, etc. But there was something, I believe it was April 26th, there was just something about when you just think there's nothing more you can see. Now, I'm not talking about mass incidents. I'm talking about smaller ones with equally devastating results, like the triple homicide in Green Valley Ranch at an apartment complex. April 26, 5900 block of North Dunkirk. Adult male, adult female, and a 4-year-old little boy. Well, the Denver Police Department, Blake will have more coming up. They have made an arrest in the triple homicide. The guy's being held for investigation of 3 counts of first-degree murder, and now it goes to the Denver District Attorney's Office. Please don't screw this one up, Beth. But there's just something of all the death and killing, assaults, rapes, hit and runs, somebody got shot, self-transport to the hospital, whatever. There is just something, and I think it's obviously because I'm human, and I hope you join me. You know, when adults get into stuff, yes, there absolutely and clearly are innocent victims all the time. But there is just something about the death of a child that just, I mean, this little boy had nothing to do with whatever the reason this suspect is now in custody. Nothing. And one of the reasons why, at least I don't know how many of my other fellow radio folks in Colorado have addressed this. Maybe they have done tons more. But there is just something about this particular case where what did he feel? The suspect, did he feel that, well, you got to kill the kid as well because you don't want any witnesses? Again, I don't know the circumstances around why this happened, but I hope you join me in knowing full well that a 4-year-old little boy had nothing to do with it. And it is surprising. Obviously, I don't get to listen to a lot of other of the quote unquote competition. But, you know, the fact that, of course, the city and county of Denver, the district councilwoman, Stacy Gilmore, is the president of the Denver City Council. Did she make like a huge deal about this? No, she waited almost 96 hours to put anything out on social media. 96 hours. And I won't forget, it happened on a Tuesday. And it was Friday before she said anything. And she was, I don't know if she was the acting mayor while Hancock was, you know, out whining and dining in Finland with the merry band of, you know, entourage from Denver. And it's the same pervasive attitude, just like with the Parks and Rec Department a couple of weeks ago. Good Samaritan murdered in a park in Denver. Does anybody make a really big deal out of it? Well, I'm not trying to roll over ground already covered, but let me just give you one more reminder. No, the city and county of Denver and its Parks and Rec Department decided instead of having this be, this is it, we got to take this city back, so to speak. No, they closed down the park and the rec center. And remember, it's District 3 Denver City Councilwoman, Jamie Torres, tried to feed you a line of bull that it was so the rec center folks could grieve. But this 4-year-old involved in a triple homicide, what will it take? That's the one thing that I just wonder. What will it take for this city's quote unquote leaders to say, finally, that enough is enough? Really? What is it? Another mass shooting before Hancock holds a press conference? And the rest of my days as Denver mayor, I have one priority, and that will be to stop crime. We will be known as the safest. They could say something like this: we are going to become 3 times safer, or the safest metropolitan area in the country by a certain date. If you think that's ridiculous, trust me, you had a former mayor of Denver who thought it was a good idea to tell you that he would, in essence, rid this city of homelessness in 1 decade. So they have put themselves out there. But you tell me, Mayor Hancock, Stacy Gilmore, Jamie Torres, the idiot, whoever that is, and they may be the nicest person in the world, but whoever took Murphy Robinson, Murph the Turf's director of public safety, you all have failed and you continue to fail. And how isn't the death of a 4-year-old involved in a triple homicide a bigger deal here? How is that possible? Well, by God, I'm going to continue to make it a big deal, even if I sound like a broken record. The only unfortunate part is you are the recipient. They probably aren't listening. We've got to take a break. When we come back, we'll see if we can squeeze in some phone calls. And I'm telling you, just makes you shake your head. Shake your head. Let me tell you about our friends at the garage. They're my friends. And you know what? When I started telling you about the garage, well, it was only strictly for people who drove BMWs. But now, you know what? They have a second wonderful location. And yes, they do incredible work. I know it firsthand on BMWs. But even if you don't drive a BMW now, you can use the garage for all of your service needs. If you've got, if you're driving the beater or you've got something that's consistently wrong, get it to these incredible pros. They used to work for dealerships. Now they've started their own business, and you'll get fair pricing and excellent customer treatment. And maybe one of the added bonuses is you ain't paying dealer prices. Or, hey, would you like to buy a new car? No, I just wanted an oil change. How about getting the KNUS $99 full synthetic BMW oil change special? It's a terrific value. It does exclude diesels and M cars, but they've got the tools, talent, and training at the garage to take care of all your vehicle's service needs. Save time and money on repairs, and they'll get you back on the road. Again, the KNUS $99 full synthetic BMW oil change special, or any of your auto service repair needs. They are just off of Santa Fe and Union in Englewood, or in Parker on Dransfeld, just south of Lincoln. Tell them Steffan sent you and visit their website, bmwrepairexperts.com. That's bmwrepairexperts.com. And you don't have to simply drive a BMW. They're not going, it's an equal opportunity garage at the garage. We're back after this. News Now, 710 KNUS.
News, traffic, weather, and the latest on Ukraine.
Beautiful sunny day today up and down the Front Range, and we have weather and traffic coming up. Denver Police Division Chief Montoya gave an update on a triple homicide that happened north of Green Valley Ranch in April. Today, Denver police announced a suspect was arrested in connection to the triple murder. 24-year-old Elijah Jacques Hood was arrested. One of the victims, of course, was a 4-year-old. Stocks are sharply lower on Wall Street at the closing bell. The Dow lost 653 points to 32,245. The S&P 500 fell 132 points to 3991. The Nasdaq dropped 521 points to 11,623. The governor of Wisconsin says a suspected arson at an anti-abortion office is a horrible incident. Tony Evers called for arrests in the fire at the Wisconsin Family Action Office over the weekend. Wisconsin Family Action had criticized Evers earlier, saying his previous responses to violence in Kenosha and Madison in 2020 helped foster incidents such as the fire. Nuggets Nikola Jokic named the NBA MVP again, the second straight year. The Avalanche try to sweep the Predators tonight in Nashville. Game 4, they lead it 3-0. They drop the puck at 7:30. Steffan continues in just a few short minutes. Stay with us. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Highways are getting heavier for the drive out here. A couple of problems. Northbound I-25, a minor crash up past 6th Avenue on the shoulder there. Northbound I-25 heavy from Lincoln Broadway up to I-70. Speeds there single digits and teens. And a minor wreck northbound 225. It's near I-70. I'm Susan Thielen.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag. Wendy's Biggie Bag is just $5. Get your choice of a double stack junior bacon cheeseburger or crispy chicken BLT plus 4-piece nugs, small fries, and a small drink, all for $5. U.S. price of participation may vary.
Still a bit breezy. Lows tonight near 40 degrees under clear to partly cloudy skies. Tuesday will be warm. High 75 to 80. Southeast winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour by afternoon. Lows Tuesday night in the upper 40s. Wednesday partly cloudy, quite warm. Breezy south winds. Highs well into the 80s. Cooling to the 70s Thursday. A front coming through may trigger a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist on day 710. KNUS.
Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Colorado Flat Fee Realty.
In today's active real estate market, don't pay too much to sell your house. Colorado Flat Fee Realty is now offering a 2% option. If you were selling a $500,000 house, the agent typically charges you 6%. That's $30,000 for just a few days of work. Colorado Flat Fee Realty has a much better way. On that same $500,000 sale, you would save thousands with Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option, why would you list your house with anyone else? Pay less, keep more. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Call 303-300-9660 to find out more. 303-300-9660 or visit ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com.
Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Pay less, keep more, save thousands.
Genetics, stress, hormones, aging, all natural factors that can lead to hair loss. So until we find a way to stop aging, there is fortunately a way to reverse balding and thinning hair using groundbreaking technology. Advanced Hair Restoration's simple one-day treatment can regrow your own natural hair in those places maybe it's disappeared for years. Advanced Hair works for men and women across all ages, and your new hair is backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. The top-rated physicians at Advanced Hair, they've improved tens of thousands of lives by reversing the clock on hair loss. Set up your free consultation today. Call them 720-459-HAIR. If it's right for you, you'll also get 250 free hair grafts plus $250 off. We might not be able to prevent all causes of hair loss, but you can regrow your own natural hair with Advanced Hair. 720-459-HAIR or become inspired with those before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
It's easy and profitable to be kind to others when you enter the Kindness Challenge. Each day for 30 days, we'll post a new act of kindness that you can do for others. On June 1st, you could win $5,000, and a deserving organization will also receive $5,000 in your name. You can make a difference in others' lives when you enter the Kindness Challenge.
The Kindness Challenge is brought to you in part by The Garage in Inglewood and Parker, home of the KNUS $99 oil change.
Now, back to Steffan Tubbs, News Talk 710, KNUS.
December 5th, 1932, and he passed away in Tullahoma, Tennessee on May 9th, 2020, 2 years ago today. We are celebrating the life of Richard Wayne Penniman. Strike that. Richard Wayne Penniman. Bifocals. We know him better as Little Richard. So DJ Matt is spinning the Little Richard tunes in honor of him. He passed away again 2 years ago today. You heard the news about the arrest. We'll have more coming up in our 5 o'clock hour on an arrest in that triple homicide. I was going to say horrible triple homicide. Any triple homicide is beyond horrible. Just so sick. Also in the 5 o'clock hour. Where was this over the weekend, if possibly you're just joining us?
We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back.
No, that wasn't outside the Supreme Court because, you know, a bunch of people are still fired up about the leak last week. They weren't walking back and forth, megaphones and signs outside the steps of the United States Supreme Court building. No, that was outside the Maryland home of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. These people have no shame. There is no bottom. And as I've mentioned a couple of times, they'll do it to you. You are one mistake away from dox them. We'll come to your home. We will disrupt your lives as much as we can. Neighbors, who cares? So we'll talk more about that and an interesting federal statute that one of our great, in fact, a couple of you great listeners sent in. I will read this federal statute. These people should be arrested. And I'm all about free speech. But there is a reason, and we'll get into that federal statute coming up. We're heading toward 5 o'clock, and Brian in Arvada joins us. Good afternoon to you.
Hey, Steffan. Yeah, I'm surprised the judges don't live in like a gated community. How do these clowns even get in there?
It's just a regular street.
I would figure they would live in a gated community.
Yeah.
I mean, I deliver to gated communities all the time, but yeah, you're not allowed to intimidate a case. And where's Garland on this one? I mean, that guy's about as corrupt as they come. But anyhow, do we still have the death penalty in Colorado?
We do not.
Oh, they got rid of it?
Not they. Governor Jared Polis did, yes.
So you got a piece of garbage that can look a 4-year-old in the face and put a bullet in him, and he doesn't face the death penalty?
You, unfortunately, friend, are exactly right.
That's absolutely horrible. You know, we got to get back to some morality. If you're willing to kill a little 4-year-old child, I have grandkids. I have kids.
Mm-hmm.
You are the lowest piece of trash that I could imagine. And whatever happened to that case out of Boulder where that guy went into Safeway?
King Supers?
Or King Supers. Whatever happened to that guy? He's not even been charged yet.
Well, yes, he has been charged.
Oh, I mean charged, but he hasn't. They're saying he's incompetent?
Yep. I don't even know if we're ever going to get to the bottom of that story, to be honest with you.
Well, why, though? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. If you can kill a little child or you can walk into a King Supers and ruin multiple families' lives, and then we're saying you're not competent, it's disgusting what this country's turned into. We've let crime overrule everything because of these retarded Democrats.
Well, that was politically incorrect to say, but anyhow, I get it. And look, do I need to tell you? And I know I don't. You know this as well as anybody. You tell me once a week, in essence, yeah, elections have consequences. The fact that the death penalty has been taken off of the table, maybe, just maybe, the suspect in the triple homicide Green Valley Ranch and the 4-year-old little boy, he blows away multiple shots and kills a little 4-year-old boy. Maybe in the back of his mind, he knows that, well, it doesn't matter what I do, doesn't matter how long I'm on the run, if they catch me, I'm not going to be put to death.
Exactly. There's not a consequence. There's not a consequence. Or maybe he would have thought twice, but you know, before he did what he did. I don't know. I don't know criminals, but it's pretty sick. And I don't know. This whole thing is just disgusting to me. It's sick. And for these people, these Democrats, we have got to start standing up and say no more. We got to get rid of the mail-in ballots to begin with.
You're everywhere today. You're everywhere. Mail-in ballots, death penalty.
Did you watch 2,000 Mules?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
Not for any other reason than I just not have
the show the corruption. And what I'm saying is, guys, we actually have to stand up a little bit. America, the land of the free, the home of the brave. If you get rid of the brave, you're not going to be free anymore. We have to start standing up to these corrupt people and say no more. And I think America's actually starting to a little bit. I think we're kind of getting there. Biden didn't get 81 million votes, people. We've been lied to. This is what happens when an election is stolen. This is what happens when you have a government that's not legitimate.
I gotta cut it there because the computer's cutting me off, and I gotta give you a sponsor. But here's the deal: why I love Brian. He has never wavered. In 3+ years that I remember consistently calling once a week, he's never wavered. I respect that. I do. I also respect our sponsors like 888 Heating. It is the time of year you're thinking about your air conditioner. Maybe is it clean? Get them out for an $88 performance check. But it is, if it's an older unit, it is, consider it the vampire, sucking you dry every single month with your bills. Older units can be the biggest energy consumers. So right now for you, thank goodness there's 888 Heating, a limited time offer, $2,088 off a new AC or furnace installation. Maybe get it and start saving money immediately. They only install with 888 American Standard units, the best in the industry at the best price. They will go the distance for you. Online, 888heating.com, easy scheduling. Visit their specials tab. Their team made up of professionals. 888heating.com, and tell them Steffan sent you. Guess who's coming up?
Joker again from downtown. Got it.
No, not Nikola Jokic, but former Nuggets head coach Bill Hanslick as we talk about another MVP season. Don't go anywhere.
You ready? Get ready. News Talk 710 KNUS presents the Colorado Republican Rumble. A day of debates featuring statewide Republican candidates for Secretary of State, Governor, U.S. Senate, Saturday, May 21st at the Grizzly Rose, starting at high noon, featuring News Talk 710's own George Brockler helping moderate the event. Watch it in person or stream it live. Complete details at 710knus.com. The Colorado Republican Rumble is presented by the Republican Women of Weld in partnership with the Adams County Republican Women and News Talk 710 KNUS.
Personalized, functional, beautiful. Kitchens, the centerpiece of your home, a place to gather and eat, and we all want one we can enjoy. Your kitchen remodel can bring all the latest designs, colors, and textures to life, from brilliant countertop and backsplash installations to cabinets in the style and function that fit you best. Cabinetry by Kales is known for extraordinary kitchen design, and you'll love working with their expert designers who can take your ideas and tastes and bring them to life. Cabinetry by Kales Kitchen and Bath carries multiple lines of cabinetry and countertops, plus hardware selections and a variety of styles and price ranges for the kitchen, bathroom, or other cabinet projects. Get started at cabinetryByKales.com or in the showroom located off Dransfeld in Parker. You'll find inspiration and understand the process start to finish. Why wait another moment? Your kitchen refresh, upgrade, or complete remodel awaits at Cabinetry by Kales Kitchen and Bath. CabinetryByKales.com. Personalized, functional, beautiful.
Hey, it's George Brockler with 710 KNUS. For a business owner like me, it's always tax season. The Employee Retention Credit is a great way to pay down back taxes or to receive your credit from the IRS via check. The taxpayer advocates, and they are advocates, at El Dorado Tax Solutions offer real-world solutions, not empty promises like so many do. This boutique firm can help stop bank levies and garnishments. Call El Dorado Tax Solutions at 720-769-7433 to see if you qualify for ERC credits and or to discuss your tax liability. That's El Dorado Tax Solutions at eldoradotaxsolutions.com.
It's easy and profitable to be kind to others when you enter the Kindness Challenge. Each day for 30 days, we'll post a new act of kindness that you can do for others. On June 1st, you could win $5,000, and a deserving organization will also receive $5,000 in your name. You can make a difference in others' lives when you enter the Kindness Challenge.
The Kindness Challenge is brought to you in part by Littleton Jewelry, your home for custom jewelry, diamonds, and repairs.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. I want to speak to the dads who are being denied access to their kids, excluded from key parenting decisions, are contending with child support issues. In all of these cases, doing nothing is probably not a good strategy. The law has given you rights, but you have to assert them. If the challenge is the cost of an attorney, Cordell & Cordell offers a capped fee option. Give us a call.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Colorado area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 303-221-DADS. CordellCordell.com.
News, traffic, weather, and the latest on Ukraine. News Talk 710 KNUS, Denver. The news now.
72 degrees and sunny outside at 5 o'clock Monday on your drive home. Traffic and weather is coming up. Denver police announcing late this afternoon, 24-year-old Elijah Hood arrested for the triple homicide that occurred in the 5900 block of Dunkirk Street in April. He's being held for investigation of 3 counts of first-degree murder, one of the victims a 4-year-old boy. As Steffan discussed last hour, final determination of charges will be made by the Denver District Attorney's Office. Here's KNUS First Alert Traffic.
Heavy traffic heading up into the downtown area, jammed on northbound 25. Crash there, just cleared. Northbound I-25 after 6th Avenue, running heavy from the Downing Bridge on up to I-70. And a wreck still working northbound 225 near I-70, slow back to 6th Avenue. I'm Susan Phelan.
Report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Still a bit breezy. Lows tonight near 40 degrees under clear to partly cloudy skies. Tuesday will be warm, high 75 to 80. Southeast winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour by afternoon. Lows Tuesday night in the upper 40s. Wednesday partly cloudy, quite warm. Breezy south winds, highs well into the 80s. Cooling to the 70s Thursday. A front coming through may trigger a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist on day 710. KNUS.
A longtime newsman with an opinion, a proud dad, an American, supporter of our veterans and active duty military. Common sense discussion begins now. This is the Steffan Tubbs Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Has ended for an escaped Alabama inmate and a wanted corrections officer who helped the convicted murderer escape. The U.S. Marshals chased down a 38-year-old named Casey White and 56-year-old Vicky White, no relation, in a vehicle in Evansville, Indiana. On Wall Street, the Dow lost 653 points. The S&P 500 fell 132 points. The NASDAQ dropped 521 points to 11,623. Avalanche tried to sweep the Preds tonight. They dropped the puck at 7:30. The Nugs, Nikola Jokic, named the NBA MVP for the second straight year. Shaking hands. Bill Hansley coming up. There's Steffan. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Portions of the following. A longtime newsman with an opinion, a proud dad, an American, supporter of our veterans and active duty military. Common sense discussion begins now. This is the Steffan Tubbs Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Tubbs, producer Matt Steinkruger. As you heard, Blake Olson in the newsroom. Yeah, we've got former Nuggets head coach Bill Hansley, one of the good guys. Just such a nice guy, supports our military like no other. It's great. And hashtag we are not a sports show. But sometimes sports is news and news is sports. And as Blake just mentioned, Nikola Jokic, the Joker, MVP for the second year in a row in the NBA. Oh, are they pissed in Philadelphia? Again, we're not a sports show, but I love a positive story and I love sports. So there you go. Positive, except for the Nuggets aren't in the playoffs anymore. Dang it. But everybody, like even last night, the Sixers Heat game, every time Joel Embiid would get to the free throw line, MVP. And now here in Denver, we can at least say, well, maybe next year, because not this year.
Joker again from downtown. Got it.
I mean, the guy is absolutely phenomenal.
Green's already got one foul. Jokic reverse into the lane, and he puts it up and in.
And it should have been another foul. He reached
Our
in
friends at Altitude, Chris Marlowe and Scotty Hastings. And look, the Joker, he can do it all.
Give to Jokic. Jokic on the move. Pass it out to Green. Green for three. That's off the mark. Jokic volleyballs it out to Morris for three. Yes!
I love it, especially on a Monday. Hope you had a great Mother's Day weekend. We can start out on the beginning of the 5 o'clock hour with some positive. Bill Hansley is awesome. He is a radio and TV guy, but he's also former NBA player and the former head coach of your Denver Nuggets. Kind enough to return my text. Coach, it's great to have you on the program.
Hey, I'm always going to return your text. Always.
I appreciate
You
that.
got to be with the big cheeses. You're a big cheese.
Well, thank you, my man. You want to talk about big cheeses. What does this mean for Nikola Jokic? I mean, in the greats of, like the Kobe Bryants, because, multiple and even back-to-back MVPs. This is huge.
It really is. I mean, it just puts you in another level of the NBA elites of all time, because not many people have more than one. And it wouldn't be surprising for me to see Joker get 3 in a row.
Wow.
That's how good he is.
What is it, Coach, that, we're not a sports show, but, we follow it because we're in Denver, Colorado, and sports, like I always say, is news and news is sports. But what is it about Jokic that just makes him maybe the greatest Nugget of all time? I don't even know if there's an argument about that now, but what makes him so special?
Well, first off, he is the greatest Nugget of all time. I've played against some and watched against some, but there's no question. I mean, nobody else has won an MVP, let alone 2 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I often ask that, people say, well, he's not that athletic, or he's not this or that. I'll tell you what he does. He has incredible eye-hand coordination. It's incredible. And I'll describe it one way, one simple way that I think a lot of listeners could understand. He is by far the best table tennis / ping pong player on the Nuggets team, staff, anybody. You don't want to play Joker because he's virtually undefeated. I guess Sparky Gonzalez, the Nuggets equipment manager, beat him once or twice.
Huh.
Actually, a funny story. He beat him once prior to the game, and Joker didn't have a very good game. They told him, Sparky, don't you ever beat Joker again. But he does. His eye hand is just, it's 3 notches ahead of anybody. And his mental capacity on top of that just makes him lethal. And where does the ball going, or what is that person thinking about throwing it? And he's just ready to react to whatever happens.
We're talking with former Nuggets head coach, former NBA player, Bill Hanslick. He is, I want to talk to you at the end. I want to give you some props on the air live about, every year I at least see you. We rarely get, because I'm usually emceeing, but you are there every year at the TAPS Gala supporting our military.
Best.
Yeah. So I want to end on that.
But you do a great job at that, by the way.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
That is just, we cannot do enough for our military and military families, in particular people that have lost somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That's just it's just, yeah.
You're there every year. You're there every year.
Yeah, like you, I have a real passion. I'm actually one of my outside roles of, rather than running Gold Crown Foundation or doing the Nugget stuff, is I'm a civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army. There's about 2 per state. I was sworn in a couple years ago, and I relish that. I love giving back and helping our military families and any way I can.
No, and you do. And we're going to wrap up on that positive note. Again, Coach Hanslick, so kind to, on short notice, to join us, as even though we're not a sports show, when you have anyone get back-to-back awards for most valuable player, that is a big deal in obviously the sports world, because as you mentioned, Coach, no Nugget before last year had ever won MVP. So how big do you think, and do you know, I don't know, even, some things you have heard, Nikola Jokic is from Serbia. How big is he there?
Oh, I'm not sure I can answer that, other than gigantic, huge, Titanic-ish. Every acronym you could use, any adjective.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, sometimes we do some weird things, and I love how Marlowe named it the weird shot. The only shot, he shoots it wrong foot, fade away, and he calls it the Sombor Shuffle. Well, that's after his hometown of Sombor, Serbia. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's great that Joker cares that much and the people of Serbia care that much.
Yeah. Would you say, I'm not trying to make comparisons, but I mean, would he be considered in Serbia a la kind of a Michael Jordan here?
Oh, absolutely. He'd be considered the president, anything else you want. And, here's another sidebar to that. When he travels to certain cities that have big Serbian populations, it's amazing the following that will stay after the game. And sometimes Joker doesn't even go in the locker room. He just goes up to his fans in the stands and signs autographs and hangs with them a little bit. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Along those lines, what kind of guy is he? Because, I've heard some critics that say, he used to come in and he was overweight and he had to play himself into shape. And then it seemed like I know it wasn't overnight, but from one season to the next, you would know much more than me, that it's like all of a sudden, whoa, this guy is serious. And holy cow, as you've alluded to, this guy is one of the best of all time.
Well, yeah, no question on that. Here's a little story for you. So COVID hits, and it's March of
2020,
early March of 2020, and I placed a few calls out to people in the Nuggets playoff world. Let's just leave it at that.
Uh-huh.
And I said, look, every gym in town is closed, but we could possibly be open because we're kind of spread out. We got 6 courts and curtains in between. If we can help you, we're happy to help. Lo and behold, the first player to arrive was Nikola Jokic.
Wow.
And he worked it from there to eventually they got back into, I think, the Pepsi Center a little bit right before they went to Orlando and played in the bubble. But that just tells you, I mean, he wants to be good. He is good, and he works at it. It's not a thing where you just show up and all of a sudden you're just good. He works his tail off, no question.
If you are just joining us, we have the pleasure of having, for the first time on the Steffan Tubbs Show, and I hope it's not the last, former Nuggets head coach, NBA player Bill Hanslick, and we're talking about the Joker winning his second straight MVP award.
Joker again from downtown. Got it!
All right, now, Coach, I always play it straight with you. You play it straight with me. Why can't the Nuggets advance in the playoffs? Jiminy Christmas.
Well, I think this year was, you don't make excuses, but when you're losing, when you're without 2 of your top 3 guys, it's a pecking order game. The only thing worse than that is if Joker would have been out. But if you get those guys back next year, it bumps guys down the foot. I mean, Aaron Gordon was arguably your second best player. Well, if everybody's healthy and playing well, Aaron Gordon might be your 4th best player and a huge contributor. And it bumps everybody. Monte Morris comes off the bench, and your bench is so much better. And everything just rides. When you lose your 2 of your top 3 guys, that's just tough to overcome. But again, kudos to Joker, because they shouldn't even been. I don't know. They won 48 games. Shouldn't have done that, but because of his uncanny ability to just be good at everything, they did. They ran 48 games this year, which is remarkable.
Yeah, without Jamal Murray, et cetera, and a lot of injuries. Let me ask you something about from your player perspective, from your head coaching perspective, and from your analysis and what you do and how you look at games now. Talk to us about the significance of what Nikola Jokic was able to do earlier in the season, and it wasn't that long ago. He became the first NBA player to score 2,500 points, 1,300 rebounds, and 900 assists. Talk to us about the significance of that, especially for people that maybe NBA is maybe not their number one go-to.
Yeah, I mean, some of the media elites are, well, it's just numbers. No, that is an incredible area where it just shows how good he is in all facets of the game. If I would describe Nikola does not have a weakness to his game. He can defend. He has made game-winning block shots. He assists, he rebounds, he scores inside, outside. Can he get better? Yeah, he can maybe shoot the 3 a little bit better, but can he make 3-point shots? Absolutely. He just does it all. And those stats just are, it's remarkable because nobody's ever done that. and the Joker did it.
Let me ask
the Nugget fans. You know, the other thing about it too, Steffan, is he's just plain fun to watch to play. He's got a uniqueness to everything he does that you're just on your edge of your seat to say, well, what's he going to do tonight that's a little different? And that's what makes him fun.
Yeah, and before I get to a couple of other things, what you're involved with now and charity work, et cetera, I want to have the opportunity for you to plug anything you want. But you were mentioning, and I think I probably interrupted you. He seems obviously so well loved, and you mentioned about traveling around the country to other venues, and Serbian fans come out, and he pays, you know, makes the time and kind of pays it back. It sounds like he's a good guy off the court as well.
Oh, if you go to any of his teammates, any of his coaches, they just love the guy. They love playing with him. I mean, he's a enhancer to acquiring talent, because with the Joker, you get MVP and you got a chance to move on in the playoffs, given circumstances where you're not injured and beat up and those kind of things. But guys just want to play with him, because he shares the basketball. He's fun. He makes the game fun. And it's great to see.
Just a matter of time before he's in the Hall of Fame, right?
Hopefully a long time
from now. Yeah.
For games with the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah. Maybe a couple of championships behind him. Again, our guest is the great Bill Hanslick, and former NBA player, former Nuggets head coach. And I want to ask you, and this is probably going to seem, Coach, out of the blue, but I think I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this question. And this is probably, you're going to go, why did he ask me that? I'm sure, like anybody who cares, you are following the situation in Ukraine right now. Today is May 9th, and the victory over the Nazis in World War II for Russia. And, you know, there was pomp and circumstance, et cetera. But I bring this up because this is something I didn't know until fairly recently. I don't know where I saw it, but you, maybe a lot of people don't know, you were going to be an Olympian, or maybe you are an Olympian, but it was, unfortunately for you and so many of the men and women, it was 1980. And of course, we did not as a country compete because we boycotted the Moscow Games. With that said, and kind of that hook, I'm just wondering, are you bitter about that? How have you handled that? And granted, it was a long time ago, but still, with Russia so much in the news now, I wonder if you've kind of harkened back on those days.
Well, Steffan, as I tell you this story, it actually worked out to my advantage, because back in those days, you knew way ahead of time, way before the Olympic trials, and I was invited to the Olympic trials, that the U.S. was not going to play in Russia. So there were a few NBA players, all amateur at that time, that chose not to try out. And I think that opened up a couple extra slots, and that gave me a chance to participate, and I was selected. Otherwise, I wouldn't. The people that I felt bad for were not basketball players, because basketball, playing in the NBA was the epitome of the sport. Other people, the Olympics, whether you're gymnastics, volleyball, track and field, that was the culmination, the highest point of their careers, and it was taken away from them. And that was, you know, just, it wasn't right. And I spent some time with a lot of those people, and back in 1980, and you felt bad for them.
Yeah, in 1980, though, look, I don't know if it would have been any different, but then what a year. At least you knew ahead of time about the Olympics, but then you're drafted in 1980 by Seattle.
Yep, drafted by Seattle. That moved me, by making that team, it moved me from probably being a second or third round draft pick into the first round by the Sonics. And you know, as luck would have it, I had a long career and played, under contract for 11 years, and 3 back operations at the end of my career kind of eliminated playing anymore. But it was a great run, and I got a chance to coach some, and it was great. NBA was awesome. You know, Steffan, I have another thought on this whole Russian-Ukrainian thing.
Yeah.
It's bitter. I mean, I know a couple situations without getting into the Ukrainians and what you think about it. And you know, the whole deal with Russia defeating the Nazis today. Guess who bailed Russia out? They would not have said this on May 9th, 2022, but the U.S. entered and supplied a lot of armament and things to Russia. And to me, in my mind, the U.S. bailed Russia out, or they were in, as you know, would have been in big trouble.
Yeah.
So it's kind of ironic in some ways that Russia is saying, we defeated that. Well, you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
I love that you bring that up. Let me ask about what is it? Again, I see every year at the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. I see at TAPS. Is there, besides just being a proud American, is there military in your family? And what brings you to go to these events where clearly, look, I mean, you don't have to go, but you make a point of showing up?
Yeah, well, I have a huge appreciation for military. First, my father was the pilot of the B-24 in the European theater and flew missions in the summer of 1944 and in the fall. And he was shot down twice. First time escaped. Second time got put in a stalag to the end of the war. And, it was brutal. Some of the marches they had to go on as the Allies advanced, and fortunately made it. And then I have another friend of mine that passed away 2 summers ago named John Ferozzi, 82nd Airborne 505E Company. He jumped at D-Day, 60 millimeter mortars, Purple Heart there, fought at Battle of Bulge, 9A. This gentleman was just incredible. We have a flag in my field house that we honor him to this day. And it brings a smile to my face every time I think about JP. And I got to know him because of the Denver Nuggets. Chopper, our trainer, got to know him, and then he would come around the team a little bit and started coming to my basketball camps in the summer. And I knew him well for over 25 years-ish, and just a complete, wrote a book, Why Me? Why was I so lucky to make it? And it's really, really good.
Don't you find, again, Bill Hanslick is our guest, and don't you find that I know when I speak, especially because we're losing the greatest generation, because, it's not tragedy, it's life. But don't you feel, Bill, that, when you get a chance to talk with a World War II veteran, that it's like, I kind of feel guilty at times because I'm getting so much from the history and all of that. It's just like you're better because you're in their presence.
Yes, there's no question. Good way to put it, Steffan. It really is. I mean, we are losing that greatest generation, and why they fought and why guys ripped up deferments and said, I'm enlisting, I'm going in. And it said so much about the freedoms we have and what these soldiers did for us. And we should always honor that.
I love it. And this May is, of course, traditionally known since 1999 as Military Appreciation Month. You've been too kind with your time. Just a couple quick more questions, and thank you again. When you're not doing talk about the Nuggets and getting texts out of the blue, hey, can you come on in a few minutes to join me on the radio? Talk about your camps. I want you to plug whatever you are behind, and certainly take the opportunity to do that.
Well, this isn't so much a plug other than my passion. 37 years ago, we started Gold Crown Foundation, my business partner and I, and we went from a 1-week girls nonprofit camp to now we serve in excess of 15,000 kids annually.
Wow.
We have a 13-acre complex in Lakewood. I have the ability to sit back and think about it and go, wow, how did this ever happen? A little divine intervention, I think. But what our passion is preparing kids for the game of life. And we think sports is a great way to do that with teamwork, character, commitment, responsibility. A lot of those things are military themes too, but we just have a ton of fun, and we can continue to grow and try to do more every day for kids. Go to goldcrownfoundation.com if you want to learn more about what goes on and what we do with kids and how your kids can participate in programs we have. Would love it.
That is just terrific. I look forward to seeing you. And this year's TAPS Gala is at Wings Over the Rockies.
Yes, a little change in venue. I'm looking forward to that.
That's right.
Cool.
Well, I will
shout out to Lynn and Bo Cottrell.
There you go.
What they do, they just wow.
Absolutely. Yep. Millions and millions of dollars to TAPS. Again, Bill's foundation, goldcrownfoundation.com. I cannot thank you enough for talking from the Joker to your father. I didn't know that your dad was shot down. I didn't know he was a pilot in a B-24. salute to your family and friend. Thank you for, always supporting our military. And I know they appreciate it.
Game on. Back at you, my friend.
All right. Bill
Thanks.
Hanslick. Thank you, Coach. Awesome stuff. Now, see, there was a reason to stick with us. Hashtag we are not a sports show. We talked about other things, but congratulations to the Joker.
Green's already got one foul. Jokic reverse into the lane, and he puts it up and in.
And it should have been another foul. He reached in, and they didn't call it.
I love it. Matt, I'm going to say something that may be perceived as a negative, or I didn't have the guts to say it to the coach on the air. Should I do it or should I not?
I think you should.
Okay. Because I love Bill Hanslick, and he is, amazing. He's an amazing American. Freaking Olympian, for crying out loud, but no games in Moscow. I love Bill, and he knows if he's listening or this gets back to him that I mean it with all the love in the world. Coach Bill Hanslick owns the worst full season record for a rookie coach in NBA history. Dang it. It wasn't his fault. It was the players. Bill Hanslick was the Nuggets head coach for 1 year. Good Lord. I forgot they were this bad. Well, they did win 11 games under Bill Hanslick. They lost 71. But I love him. Thank you to Coach Bill Hanslick. We'll get traffic and weather for you coming up. I hope you enjoyed that. If you're even an infrequent listener, we don't do a lot of sports. So there you go. Want to tell you about my friends at the Colorado Farm Bureau, an organization that I love. They're made up of farmers and ranchers, anyone who also wants to promote and protect agriculture and our state's great rural heritage. That's where I come in, because I'm not a farmer or rancher, but I want to support the men, women, and the families, the kids that work hard, and I want them to continue and to prosper. Colorado Farm Bureau has been around for 103 years. Ag is such a critical part of the economy, as I've been telling you. But what about our history and heritage as well? That's why I'm a Farm Bureau member, and I think you should be as well. They watch out for interests of, say, family farms and ranches, and even those of us consumers. They have a presence in D.C., of course. They have a presence at the Colorado Capitol as well. Join me in becoming a member of the Colorado Farm Bureau and show your support. Help protect our family farms and ranches now and well into the future. Become a member, support the cause. All you got to do is go to the website, coloradofarmbureau.com.
Latest crash in the drive was in the Tech Center, northbound I-25 near Bellevue. The wreck is gone. Now that northbound drive just a bit crowded from Dry Creek on up to Bellevue. Get a bunch up trying to get up into downtown. Rest of the highways are quiet. We're going to hit some delays. I-70 that westbound direction, crowded trying to get over to Colorado Boulevard. Eastbound I-70 trying to get out to 225 to 70. Busy there across Commerce City. Now crash in Parker. It's a rollover. Southbound Parker Road at Lincoln Avenue. Crash backing up Santa Fe at Union. I'm Susan Thielen.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores.
George Brockler with the George Show on 710 KNUS. If you missed today's show, you missed a fascinating interview with Doug Aden, chairman of the American Constitution Party, and a great conversation about, did we hear Supreme Court justices lie to us?
Courts in general should follow their past precedents.
Hey, listen, I'll be back on Wednesday. Tomorrow, Jimmy Sangenberger. Stay tuned right here, 710 KNUS.
George Brockler, weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Colorado Flat Fee Realty.
In today's active real estate market, don't pay too much to sell your house. Colorado Flat Fee Realty is now offering a 2% option. If you were selling a $500,000 house, the agent typically charges you 6%. That's $30,000 for just a few days of work. Colorado Flat Fee Realty has a much better way. On that same $500,000 sale, you would save thousands with Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option, why would you list your house with anyone else? Pay less, keep more. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Call 303-300-9700. 9660 to find out more. 303-300-9660 or visit ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Colorado Flat Fee Realty, now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com.
Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Pay less, keep more, save thousands.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 3388 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 3388.
Hi,
Enjoy.
I'm Gabe Walker from Alpine Planning Group. Wealth accumulation is never simple, but it's the distribution phase where we believe clients absolutely need a partner to navigate market cycles, assist with changes, and ensure retirement portfolios will last. At Alpine Planning Group, we specialize in wealth management. We're local, we're personal, and we customize every plan. If you'd like to meet or learn more, give us a call at 303-843-0918. Have a plan, have a partner, call Alpine Planning Group today.
Air conditioning season is already here. It's that time of year when temperature swings can change 30 degrees in a single day. Now is the time to call Squeak Services to get your AC ready. Preventive maintenance is the only way to save on costly repairs. And when you call Squeaks, you'll only pay $60 to ensure your AC unit is working at its best and ready for the season. Call, text, or chat with Squeak Services 7 days a week to set an AC maintenance appointment today. Call 303-280-5765 or visit squeaksservices.com.
News Talk 710 KNUS. Listen live on Odyssey.
The manhunt comes to an end. That's coming up on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Now, back to Steffan Tubbs. News Talk 710 KNUS.
Little Richard passed away again on May 9th, 2020. We paid respects to him via music a couple of years ago. Thought we'd bring it back. We rarely on a Music Monday, even now 5 years or into our 5th year together, we rarely have repeats, but some good old school stuff spun by DJ Matt. We are on until 7 o'clock tonight. I really, really hope you enjoyed our interview with Bill Hanslick. The guy is just, I don't know, what would be the cliche? Salt of the earth, but he is. He's a good, solid individual. And I think that came through loud and clear. Honestly, I didn't know. I've known him. We're not best friends, but I always enjoy seeing him and talking with him over the years. And honestly, until not too long ago, I didn't realize, oh my goodness, he was going to go to the Olympics in Moscow in 1980. And my thanks to Coach for going there, because he didn't know I was going to ask that. And I wasn't trying to make it a stretch, but I'm thinking, well, Russia is certainly sadly in the news all the time. I wonder if he's harkened back to the days where he could have been in the Olympics had we actually not boycotted. And true to the character of Bill Hanslick, he put it off on, well, I was okay. And, you know, he went on to become the 20th pick in the NBA draft in 1980. But what did he say a few moments ago that he felt for those people? And I thought he put it very succinctly. You know, they were at the apex and had trained so much for what would be the highest level of achievement that they would receive and they would obtain. And you know, I know there were political reasons, certainly, not to get into the weeds on that, but they were cheated. of that opportunity. So thank you to Coach Bill Hanslick. And he did text back. I texted him, thank you. And he's like, anytime, Matt, we're going to hold him to it. Why not? And of course, the impetus is Nikola Jokic winning his second straight Most Valuable Player award in the NBA. Coming up, we've got more news coming up in the 6 o'clock hour. Open lines. We'll discuss a lot of stuff. And of course, always welcome your participation. 303-696-1971. Here's what we do in this segment. Going to start out with some negative and end on a positive. Let's start with the negative. Outside of a Supreme Court justice's home over the weekend.
We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back.
Oh, why do you have a problem? Why do you have a problem with them, Stephen Tubes? Why? They're just exercising their free speech. No, Joker. See what I did there? They are doxing, in this case, Brett Kavanaugh. Outside his home. Gone are the days there is no bottom. Gone are the days of, well, we're pissed. We'll go to the Supreme Court and pace back and forth and get the bullhorns. Maybe one of Fat Tay's screeches through a bullhorn. No. They'll take it to you. I've mentioned a couple of times on the program. I'll say it a third time for emphasis. You are one, well, they would certainly say an egregious error. You are one step away from being doxxed yourself. You don't have to be a Supreme Court justice. Hell, look at a couple of years ago. I was out there when Johnny Choate. Why does that name ring a bell? The director of the ICE facility in Aurora. Remember when they took it to, I was out there. They took it to his neighborhood. The same gathering where these docile yet vocal, they just want peace. They're about unity. No, they were the same people that I listened to with my own ears get in the faces of our Aurora police officers. One of the idiots saying to another officer, why don't you go home and swallow a bullet? These people are bad news. However, there comes a time where I go, I cannot be a hypocrite. I'm all about free speech. Good Lord knows. It's kind of important in a job like mine. But thank you to one of our listeners who sent the following. From a federal statute. Whoever, with the intent of interfering with, obstructing, or impeding the administration of justice, or with the intent of influencing any judge, juror, witness, or court officer in the discharge of his duty, pickets or parades in or near a building housing a court of the United States, or in or near a building or residence occupied by or used by such judge, juror, witness, or court officer, or with such intent uses any sound truck or similar device, or resorts to any other demonstration in or near any such building or residence, shall be fined under this title, or imprisoned not more than 1 year, or both. And then it wraps up, nothing in this section shall interfere with or prevent the exercise by any court of the United States of its power to punish for contempt. Told you we were going to start off with some negative. And then there is, well, the Molotov cocktail incident over the weekend in Wisconsin.
The people united will never be defeated.
In Madison, Wisconsin, police say a Molotov cocktail thrown into the headquarters of an anti-abortion group, vandalized with a warning, spray painted on a wall. If abortions aren't safe, then you aren't either. And conservative Supreme Court justices facing fury. Protesters outside the D.C. area homes of the court's Chief Justice, John Roberts, as well as Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
We will not go back.
The Trump nominee promised Senators Roe versus Wade was settled precedent to get confirmed to the nation's highest court. But now that leaked draft opinion shows Kavanaugh among 5 judges potentially poised to overturn that nearly 50-year precedent. It comes as new polls show nearly 2/3 of Americans want Roe kept in place. Those tensions playing out in protests across the country. Houston, Chicago, and the steps of the Supreme Court.
I'm here on Mother's Day because everyone should have a choice whether they become a mother or not.
And renewed attention on the states. 13 have trigger laws that would automatically restrict abortion. Among them, South Dakota, already among the most restrictive states for abortion access.
Some patients I have travel 300 miles to get here because we're the closest abortion center to them. We are the only one in the state.
For some women, they already are very much living a post-roe life.
Women have less rights under this law than men do. How do you justify it?
What I would say, Chuck, is at the end of the day, there is no right to an abortion in the United States Constitution.
Meanwhile, the Senate's top Republican leaving the door open to a national abortion ban, saying in an interview, it's possible.
And Allie joins me now from the White House. So you just mentioned the Republican Senate leader, but Democrats are talking about moving on this issue as well.
Yeah, that's right, Kate. Democrats are forging ahead, trying to codify abortion protections at the federal level.
That from NBC. Many of you may not care what other people in other parts of the world think, but I mean, what do they think in far off lands when they see stories like the Molotov cocktail incident in Wisconsin? Well, you may not care. And that's, I mean, I don't care if you don't care, with all the love in the world. But here's just to illustrate my point. Oh, this made news in Australia.
The debate over abortion rights in the United States is turning vicious. A Molotov cocktail was thrown at an anti-abortion group's office in Wisconsin, along with threatening graffiti scrawled across its walls. The debate sparked by a leaked document suggesting the Supreme Court would overrule a long-standing precedent that guaranteed access to abortions nationwide. Democrats in Congress are trying to rush through new laws to prevent it from happening.
Every American will see how every senator stands. They can't duck it anymore.
Pro-choice activists have been demonstrating in dozens of sites across the country.
I mean, Australia is not without its problems. See pandemic and lockdowns. But I just use it for an illustrative purpose of what they must think. And no, I mean, we got to take care of our own problems. Can't worry about what other people think of us. But I think you get my point. I told you, though, we would end on a positive. Holy mama. Tell me you saw the Kentucky Derby on Saturday.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby. And summer is tomorrow, had a great start and goes immediately to the early lead. Messier is away running with speed. Crown Pride to the outside. Epicenter is going to be taken back a bit, down toward the inside as Tapa goes up outside of Charge after 3/4 in 1 minute 10 and 4/5 seconds. And now Epicenter comes splitting horses and is moving up quickly as Crown Pride takes the lead around the far turn. It is Crown Pride battling with Messier. They're stride for stride. Epicenter and Zozo's in behind them. Cyberknife swings up to the outside. Sandon gets the rail run, and they're into the stretch. And it's Messier, Crown Pride, and Epicenter.
Wait for it.
Coming up on the outside.
Wait for it.
Epicenter has taken the lead as they arrive into the final furlong. Sandon is coming after him. Epicenter and Sandon, these two, stride for stride. Simplification down the outside is next. They're coming down to the wire. Epicenter, Sandon, Rich Strike is coming up on the inside. Oh my goodness, the longest shot has won the Kentucky Derby.
80-1. Zandon, Epicenter, Zandon. What the hell?
Rich Strike has done it in a stunning, unbelievable upset.
Forget Rich Strike, Lightning Strike. That's one of the biggest upsets in the history of the Kentucky Derby. Friday morning at 8 a.m., this horse was not in the race. Eric Reed, the trainer, Sonny Leon, the jockey, have never been a part of the Derby, and they have won an unbelievably upset, shocking Kentucky Derby with Rich Strike.
The great Mike Tirico, NBC Sports there. Man, that was fun. We got to take a break for news. Blake on the other side of my voice. And then Randy Corcoran on the other side of Blake's news, if you're following me. Tea Party tomorrow. Randy will tell you about it, and maybe you want to participate. We'll have the brother coming up next on 710 KNUS.
Talk 710. Update.
Beautiful night. On your drive home, we have traffic and weather coming up. Denver police announcing late this afternoon, 24-year-old Elijah Hood arrested for the triple homicide that occurred in April just north of Green Valley Ranch. He's being held for investigation of 3 counts of first-degree murder. One of the victims, a 4-year-old boy. Breitbart News reporting today that Black Lives Matter BLM co-founder Patrisse Cullors admitted this week that she used the group's $6 million property to host personal parties, bringing light to further suspicions of BLM leaders misusing funds for personal gain. Hey, if you're going to do it right, or don't bother. Call Done Right for kitchens, baths, counters and floors, and even replacement windows and doors. 800-362-8370 or drhi.com. The manhunt has ended for an escaped Alabama inmate and wanted corrections officer who helped the convicted murderer escape. U.S. Marshals chased down 38-year-old Casey White and 56-year-old Vicky White, no relation, in a vehicle in Evansville, Indiana. Casey was driving. The S&P 500 fell below 4,000 to its lowest level in a year as big tech got hammered today. The Dow lost 653 points. The S&P fell 132 points, and the Nasdaq dropped 521 points. Steffan continues in a couple of minutes. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Driving the tech center is getting better. Northbound I-25, minor wreck at Bellevue has been cleared, and speeds are starting to pick up through there. Trying to get into downtown, pretty jammed. Northbound I-25 from Lincoln Broadway to about Spear. Speeds get down to the single digits and teens. I-70 corridor bunched up, headed westbound, trying to get out past Colorado Boulevard through that construction busy. And 270, some stop and go traffic there. Crash off highway causing a delay. Santa Fe and Union, wreck in Parker. Southbound Parker Road at Lincoln Avenue. I'm Susan Thielen.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Still a bit breezy. Lows tonight near 40 degrees under clear to partly cloudy skies. Tuesday will be warm. High 75 to 80. Southeast winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour by afternoon. Lows Tuesday night in the upper 40s. Wednesday partly cloudy, quite warm. Breezy south winds. Highs well into the 80s. Cooling to the 70s Thursday. A front coming through may trigger a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist on day 710. KNUS.
Dr. Tim Watt here with Synergenics Denver. Our goal is better health for you. Aging doesn't have to be hard. Getting older can be the best and most rewarding time of your entire life. At Synergenics, we use advanced testing and diagnostics to help uncover how to be a healthier you. The key to health isn't treating symptom after symptom. It's finding out why those symptoms are happening and then stopping them for good. Your quality of life is directly linked to your specific risk factors. Our program is dedicated to keeping those factors as low as possible while increasing your energy, your performance, and your overall well-being. We start with comprehensive testing, followed by prescribing precision medicines that address your specific health needs. We create a program designed specifically for you to help you focus, become stronger, and feel in control of your life again. Call Synergenics today. Our number is 720-387-3681, or visit our website at denver.synergenics.com. That's denver.synergenics.com.
Hi, it's Steffan Tubbs. Make a plan and join us for the American Veteran Show. Every Sunday, we highlight incredible stories from around the country and here in Colorado. It is an honor to profile veterans, active duty, and military-related charities every single week. The American Veteran Show, part history lesson, always done with appreciation. Get a dose of patriotism. We hope you'll join us.
The American Veteran Show with Steffan Tubbs, Sundays at noon on News Talk 710 KNUS. Now, back to Steffan Tubbs, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Bring it back for you. Coming up, we'll talk with Randy Corcoran. Tea Party meeting tomorrow. He'll preview that and tell you how you can certainly attend. In about an hour, we will deliver for you the Friday Homestretch Film Review film assignment of this week, powered by our friend Danny Cash. Danny Cash Hot Sauce, DannyCash.com. Of course, their store at the River Point Shopping Center near Santa Fe and Hamden. You can see the incredible selection of barbecue sauces and drink mixes and, of course, yes, hot sauce. Some that will make you maybe not speak for a while. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Others, you're going to love the smooth spiciness. Awesome stuff. 25% off for military, veterans, and active duty. And their website, of course, DannyCash.com. And as an added bonus, Danny Cash will join us in studio tomorrow in the 4 o'clock hour, because who grows up to, I'm going to start a hot sauce company? I love it. We support Colorado's small business. So visit DannyCash.com or their store. Film assignment coming up. And just before Randy, got to pay the bills. If you have, say, a hole in one of your walls, who's going to fix it? Well, yeah, you can, but you keep saying that. And 3 months later, 3 years later, get with my friends, the trusted team at Drywall Finishing. They do so much. Yeah, they'll come out for repairs, but they also can drywall garages, basements, stairwells, maybe those things that the homeowner wants, like you, but the home builder never finished because, well, why not? Because they can charge you. You want that finished? Upcharge, upgrade, cost. Drywall Finishing, they do remodels as well. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, let them do the drywall and you do everything else. Their work is guaranteed for 6 months. They focus on cleanliness, and they're a terrific family team. Mike and his brother operate the business, and they have for a long, long time. They truly are the experts, and hiring an expert is so important when it comes to drywall. Think Drywall Finishing, from the small fixes to big projects, as well as striking smooth wall finishes. Online, 123drywall.com. That's 123drywall.com. Tell them Steffan sent you, and help support this small Colorado business as well. All right, the brother, it has been a while. I believe so long that we may need this. Let me see if I can remember this. He's your pumped up purveyor of pugnacious politics. His name is Randall Corcoran. Brother man! Well, I almost got it right.
I was looking at my phone. It was February 23rd, the last time we texted. I was at CPAC. I can't believe that many months have gone by, brother.
Well, it's great to hear your voice, and you've been a busy man as always. What, my man, do you have coming up for us tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow night, Arapahoe Tea Party. It's been sold out all weekend, but we've moved into the big room at South Metro Fire Rescue, so I'm adding 25 tickets as we speak. So we're going to be up over 100 for a very packed night tomorrow, 6:30 to 8:30. Republican gubernatorial candidate Greg Lopez is coming in to make his pitch to the Tea Party, and then we're all going to watch the 42-minute documentary Rigged 2020, which in my mind is the companion to Election Fraud Skeptics to Dinesh D'Souza's 2,000 Mules.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a perfect length for a Tea Party meeting, and we've got big screens and great sound at the boardroom at South Metro Fire. People can go to eventbrite.com, just put in Arapahoe Tea Party. It'll pop right up. 25 new tickets have been made available about 10 minutes ago.
Awesome. And I want you to know that in that very room where you all will be tomorrow is the same place that I was for weeks and weeks and weeks. That room, I don't know if you knew this, but that room was used by the governor to issue many of his executive orders.
At South Metro in Centennial?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of the emergency center. I totally blew it. That screws. No. It's only a block away. I'm sorry. I'm getting older.
Well, we don't want to confuse folks now.
No, I know exactly.
No,
it's 1 block away, but right there, kind of near IKEA.
Very cool.
It's kind of near IKEA. Listen, don't be a stranger. Feel free to text me anytime. I still eat. You could go to lunch or whatever.
I'd love to sit down and catch up because it's been way too long. Really appreciate the time tonight. Everybody, eventbrite.com, Arapahoe Tea Party, about 25 tickets I just opened up. Grab them. We're going to be a packed house tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun.
Love it, brother. And we'll follow you. And thank you, Randy Corcoran. Of course, 9 to noon every Saturday with Wake Up with Randy Corcoran. Next time I have Randy on, I want to talk about this.
We will not go back. We will not go back.
Is that just the latest now? You just screw it. We're going to take it to the man. Like in this case, literally over the weekend, outside of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's home. I apologize. I had a brain fart there. It is only 1 block away. Right near IKEA. You can't miss the IKEA. It's got a 748-foot sign right there off I-25, and we call it the Big Blue Whale. Thank you to Randy. The 6 o'clock hour is next. Stay right there.
Hi, it's Peter Boyles here to remind you to be sure to log on 710knus.com and click on the Peter Boyles Book Club banner and watch this week's video podcast. And when you join the book club, you can see all of my video interviews, get early bird invitations, attend all live events, best-selling writers and authors, and register to win copies of our featured titles every month. And remember, it's free to sign up at 710knus.com and click the book club banner today.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
If you are a man over 40, listen up, because this could impact how much you're getting done during the day and at night. The harsh reality is, once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. Here's the good news. Nugenix, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC, has changed the game again for men over 40 with Nugenix Total T, their most powerful man-boosting formula ever. And guys all over America are raving about it. Jeremy P. says, "This is the best product I've found to raise T levels. I plan on using the product for the rest of my life." And how about Shane D? He says, "I had no drive and was tanked out at the end of the day. After 3 months, my energy level is through the roof. I work out like most 19-year-olds. I am 47. Guys over 40, you need Nugenix Total T. And right now, you can get a complimentary bottle. Just text BREAK to 42424. It's the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. But you can only get your complimentary bottle by texting BREAK to 42424. That's BREAK to 42424. Text BREAK to 42424.
My mom turned 65 last year, and let me tell you, helping her get her Medicare benefits squared away was not easy. She had so many choices for coverage, and most agents she spoke with just left her feeling overwhelmed and confused. She tried to do some research on her own, but Mom isn't the most tech-savvy person out there, so it was hard for her to make sense of the provider websites and paperwork. When she asked me for help, I found Chapter, and they made both of our lives so much easier. They compare thousands of Medicare plans and help seniors choose the best plan for their needs. Mom spoke to one of their advisors, and she walked her through every step of the process. Now she's on a great plan, and we both can relax. And the best part? Chapter was 100% free.
If you or your loved one wants to maximize their Medicare benefits, give Chapter a call today. 800-449-8578. Call today. 800-449-8578. That's 800-449-8578. Chapter Medicare.
What's going on this week?
Meetings.
Sweet. Duffy Rolls. What a memorably delicious start to the day. Fresh Duffy Rolls, amazing breakfast sandwiches, fresh fruit. I might even come in early.
The next time you need a pick-me-up at your morning meetings, call the friendly catering team at Duffy Roll Bakery and Cafe, and they'll take you on a Colorado taste adventure. They provide memorably delicious eats that are the talk of the town. Visit DuffyRolls.com today.
News, traffic, weather, and the latest on Ukraine. News Talk 710, KNUS, Denver. The news now.
71 degrees and mostly sunny outside, 6 o'clock Monday on your drive home. Traffic and weather ahead. Denver police announcing today that they arrested 24-year-old Elijah Hood for the triple homicide in April north of Green Valley Ranch. One of the victims, a 4-year-old boy. Hood is being held for investigation of 3 counts of first-degree murder. Here's KNUS First Alert traffic.
No crashes, no problems along these highways. Now, the tech center looks much better. Northbound I-25 had that earlier problem at Bellevue. Trying to get into downtown, northbound 25 a little slow. Lincoln Broadway to about Spear. A southbound drive jammed from about Alameda to Colorado Boulevard. I-70 westbound is sluggish toward Colorado. 270 got some stop-and-go traffic. Rest of the highways look good. Now watch for a crash in the drive. Parker Road at Lincoln Avenue. Trouble with traffic lights. Santa Fe at Union. I'm Susan Thielen.
Report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Still a bit breezy. Lows tonight near 40 degrees under clear to partly cloudy skies. Tuesday will be warm. High 75 to 80. Southeast winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour by afternoon. Lows Tuesday night in the upper 40s. Wednesday partly cloudy, quite warm. Breezy south winds. Highs well into the 80s. Cooling to the 70s Thursday. A front coming through may trigger a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist Don Day, 710. KNUS.
Thanks, Don. 71 degrees right now. This report is sponsored by Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag. Wendy's Biggie Bag is just $5. Get your choice of a double stack junior bacon cheeseburger or crispy chicken BLT plus 4-piece nugs, small fries, and a small drink, all for $5. U.S. price and participation may vary. Both the escaped Alabama inmate and the prison guard accused of helping him are in custody. Police said jailer Vicky White and inmate Casey White, no relation, were captured in Indiana during a car pursuit and subsequent wreck. On Wall Street, the Dow lost 653 points today. The S&P 500 fell 132 points. Nikola Jokic named back-to-back NBA MVP today. Avs go for the sweep tonight against Nashville. NHL first-round puck drops at 7:30. Back to Steffan now. Blake Olson, News Talk 710, KNUS.
The following program have been pre-recorded. A longtime newsman with an opinion, a proud dad, an American, supporter of our veterans and active duty military. Common sense discussion begins now. This is the Steffan Tubbs Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
We'll get more from him coming up later this hour. We'll open up the phone lines. The text, of course, to the studio is always open. Same with sending me an email to my inbox. Our website for the program, 710knus.com/Steffan. Phone number, 303-696-1971. And, of course, via the app, you can text the studio here. You can do a whole lot. Welcome to those of you, our potential live streaming audience anywhere around the world via the app or the website. Thanks. If you are just clicking on, make sure to hear the podcast, #We Are Not a Sports Show. But, well, congratulations. Your Denver Nuggets now have a second straight MVP award go to.
Green's already got one foul. Jokic reverse into the lane, and he puts it up and in.
Yeah, it is the Joker. And we talked last hour. Catch hour 3 of the podcast today, later on tonight, commercial break free. Former Nuggets head coach and first-round draft choice in the NBA back in 1980, Bill Hanzlik joined us. And we, at the end especially, got into some really interesting discussion, I think, about how he feels about the U.S. boycotting the 1980 Olympics in Moscow. And he was going to be a part of that. And instead, he would go on to believe the 20th pick in the 1980 NBA draft and played for many, many seasons and is one of the nice guys. So if you missed that, it'll be up later via podcast. Today, of course, we talk about, well, the weekend that was, and I cannot get over this because it is flat out not right.
We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back.
Oh, boy.
We will not go back. We will not go
That outside of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's home. It's just amazing to me. The idiots like those people, look, they have every right to be pissed about anything they want, as long as they don't say break the law, as long as they don't cause mayhem, damage, destruction, injury, death to others, all in the name of their stupid movement or their stupid feelings being hurt or being riled up. Go outside the Supreme Court like they have done for decades. Go out, bring your bullhorn, bring your candlelight vigil, whatever you want to do. But when you take it to someone's home, we now know that whole process as, well, that's doxing. Doxing. Now, I read you last hour, and thank you to one of our listeners who sent the federal statute that says you cannot do this. So my question is, was that a discussion with the Supreme Court justice, perhaps his family? Why weren't those people arrested? It is one thing, as I have told you 100 times, it's one thing to just go protest. It is completely another when you take it to somebody's home, and let's face it, and thanks to one of our listeners, Chris, who is just reemphasizing what I have already known, sent me a whole bunch of texts, just how easy it is, no matter who you are, to find out where you live, to find out personal information, to find out information on your loved ones. It is wrong. They know it. They have no bottom. And as I have said, I'm going to say it. I think, Matt, this might be the fourth time, but it is worth it. Every single time I've said it, no regrets. You are one decision, one tweet, one Facebook post, one overheard conversation at Starbucks away from your ass getting doxxed. Just ask Johnny Choate. He is the face for me of someone being doxxed. Johnny Choate, of course, the director of the ICE facility in Aurora. Remember a few years ago? Disrupting his neighborhood, people telling cops, I can't even call them people. There's not even human. Who would tell an officer, scream at an officer 2 feet away? Why don't you go home and swallow a bullet? That's who some of these people are. I started the show and I want to reemphasize this. Just as every conservative in this country, every conservative in Colorado is not among the crowd that caused the violence and the destruction and the mayhem January 6th of last year. That's not every Republican. I've told you, and we're not going to get into the weeds on January 6th, but I've told you over and over, I've received, I'm never listening to you again because of the following that I'll say. If the January 6th conservatives are today's conservative, that ain't my conservative. I denounce what they did. Again, I'm not having the debate on what happened January 6th. However, I also realize that it's that way on the left. I've got to be fair, never want to be a hypocrite. No, not every Democrat, just because they hated Trump or they don't like people like you and me, not every Democrat is going to go to the home of a Supreme Court justice or get involved in doxing. Now, that is the disclaimer, not to cover my ass, but it's because I think it's true. However, you have your fringe elements way out there to the right, clearly way out there to the left. So my question is, after a Wisconsin weekend where a Molotov cocktail was thrown and just, I think it was basically something along the lines of, if abortions aren't safe, then you're not safe either, or something was spray painted graffiti. I mean, it's what's going on right now. I sure hope I'm wrong, but it may make the summer of hell 2020, not only in Denver In Decay, but across this country. If next month Roe v. Wade is overturned, what is going to happen in this country? And will the likes of Schumer, Pelosi, Jared Polis, Diana DeGette, Joe Neguse, Jason Crow, Hickenlooper, Bennett, will they say anything if people are doxxed and there are injuries, God forbid death? You know what? I'll project into next year, or excuse me, next month. Within the next 60 days, none of those damn Democrats are going to say a damn thing.
A new CBS News poll finds nearly 2/3 of Americans believe the Supreme Court should keep Roe v. Wade in place. Of those who want to make abortion illegal in their state, most say abortion is not a right.
What we're trying to do is stand up for the rights of those unborn children.
In Washington, Democrats plan a vote this week to codify abortion rights into law.
Not on our watch will you take away women's rights.
It has little chance of passing, but Democrats say it will show voters where lawmakers stand before the midterm elections. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
We will not go back. 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 We will not go back.
That's going to seem like child's play. Do you honestly think, and I know I am for the most part preaching to the choir, do you think any of the Democrat leaders, anyone within the Colorado delegation to D.C., if in 42 days the bleep or the shit is hitting the fan in the greater Denver In Decay area, will any of them denounce any of that? No, they won't. And you know it. They know it. They know what line to stick with. You don't want to offend anybody, especially those crazy Democrats who put you in office. You don't want to offend. I got to be honest. I don't want to be I'm not trying to sound like the sky is falling, but I shudder to think what we may see as a country within 30 days, 40 days, certainly 60 days, just in time to kick off the summer of 22 the right way. But these people are sickening. They have no bottom. They would, if your grandmother was in hospice and they didn't like her, they would probably do the same thing outside of the hospice center. Once again, before I freak out some of the friends on the left that listen to this program just to see what the other side is talking about, I'm not saying it's everyone. I expect the same, courtesy from our friends on the left when they always got to go to January 6th is their go-to. I expect the same from them. Might be a high bar to hurdle, but not all conservatives are like what you saw, the worst of the worst, on January 6th. I think, though, it's a little bit easier for me to say to them than them to say to us. No, we realize you don't vote the way that we do, but we realize that there are fringe elements on both sides. I highly doubt you'd hear any of that. What's the governor going to do? What's the governor going to do? And I hearken back to, my question to the governor when he's talking about COVID. He didn't like me down there much. And he was never rude. He always answered my questions. But when I talked about, hey, you know what, Governor, why three sides of the governor's mansion in spring of 2020, why are there tents everywhere? Remember what he said?
I don't follow Denver politics.
Then I called on the mayor to do something about the crime and nothing was said. Instead, he'd go down there, march arm in arm with BLM, Antifa. And then 6 weeks later,
this was a riot.
I mean, those are staples. Those are go-tos for me here on the program to play. Do you honestly think that somehow something has changed in a little less than 24 months? That if, because of Roe v. Wade possibly being overturned, that any of these leaders are going to put their foot down on violence? If it should happen? And I think, friends, you are kidding yourself if you don't think that this just may be the opportunity for these people that usually, I don't even know if they come out of their mother's basement, so to speak. This is the perfect opportunity. Is anyone planning anything? You know what they probably are doing is planning on what they'll say if, in fact, some kind of violence happens, as to how they understand why people would be so mad. This is going to be, whether we know it now or you want to admit it, I think the next 60 days in this country are going to be fascinating. When that decision comes down on that Mississippi case at the Supreme Court, if it doesn't go the way of the people that will show up in front of your house, well, I don't care if you have kids. What, Granny lives in the basement? They don't care. Oh, you can't take your dog out for the normal walk because you'll be assaulted, at minimum verbally? They do not care. Oh, and I can't believe this is the first time I brought it up. I've listed all of the Colorado delegation, the Crows and the Nagoose and DeGette, and how about, I forgot, Bennett and Hickenlooper? But how about from the top?
Joey, baby.
Wonder if the president would denounce anything. Did the president say anything about the Molotov cocktail attack in Wisconsin over the weekend? If he did, I didn't hear it. Maybe he should have whispered. He could have whispered something like, "Don't bomb." 303-696-1971. Greg in Denver joins us. Brother man, good evening to you and happy Monday.
Steffan, I know that the Gov is your friend. And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't a lot of his fortune made in medical tourism?
Medical tourism. I know the flowers and the cards.
Well, where if you had enough money and you couldn't wait the amount of time to get a kidney or a liver or anything, one of Polis's enterprises was a network of hospitals in Costa Rica and Belize that would hurry up these transplants and medical procedures that you would have to wait months for in the United States.
No, I've never heard that.
Well, I would.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just haven't heard it.
It's just a very uncomfortable bridge for me, because I have friends in the East Coast and the left coast, and Denver used to be known for the Broncos and the skiing, and now it's known
It's
for
a little
our
cow
marijuana.
town. Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. Yeah.
Exactly. And now what have we become? We have become a place where the most egregious, the most horrific abortions will be allowed to happen. And that's regardless of what the Supreme Court finds.
Yep.
So I think people, as gnarly as it is to do, need to look at what the Planned Parenthood does with the children that they murder. Every milligram of that child is harvested. And I would bet my last dollar that Polis and his cronies are already planning brick and mortar harvesting stations, because Colorado is going to be the place to go, because the rest of the country, especially 500 miles around us, you're not going to be able to. It's a good point.
No, and we talked, I don't know if you heard last week, but I was railing on Friday's program about this NPR interview that Polis did, and he was asked, are you, in essence, are you going to be a sanctuary state for people coming from Texas, Oklahoma? They can't get abortions there. And it's basically, well, yeah, we will welcome them. Yeah, exactly.
What a silly question.
Here's another question, Greg. Last week I found it was quite ironic, quite ridiculous. They were, I'm sure you saw, they were protesting outside the Colorado Capitol. I still, to this moment, want to just take any of them, don't shake the baby, but take one of them by their shoulders and go, what are you protesting here in Colorado? You're safe. Your friends are safe. Your friends outside the state are safe if they want to come and kill the baby at 8 months. I still don't know why they even took the time, but as you've seen over the weekend at Brett Kavanaugh's house, It's maybe the presence. It's making your voices heard for the television cameras. I don't know.
I think we should give them all the microphone. Let them expose themselves. Let them pull their pants down. Everybody sees what's going on, and they're tired of having them piss down our backs and telling us it's raining.
Yeah, no, it's a great call, man. Thank you as always, brother. I appreciate it. We've got to get an update on traffic and weather. When we come back, I want to talk about, well, I'll give you an update on Ukraine. Today is May 9th, as you know, but it was on this date in 1945, the Russians declared victory over Nazi Germany. I mean, if you put yourself in 1945, I wasn't there, and the majority of you may or may not, you were very small or what have you. But remember when Russia was our friend? They're an ally. They hated Hitler more than we did, and we hated Hitler. But today, Putin said something big was going to happen today. I don't know how bruised Vladimir Putin's ego is from, sadly, the war continues, but this certainly did and has not gone the way that anyone within the Kremlin, well, at least maybe they thought it, but they'd never tell him. But it's been horrific. And for some of the Russian soldiers that early on, we told you the stories we'd hear. We talked about some of these soldiers thought they were on training missions. They didn't know where they were geographically. They've lost, God knows, tens of thousands of soldiers. And of course, that has nothing to do with the horrific loss and the refugees from the people of Ukraine. But today, still, there was the victory. So we'll talk about that. And also give you a reminder that the film assignment this week is coming up in our final 30 minutes as well. And of course, brought to you by Danny Cash, Danny Cash Hot Sauce, DannyCash.com. Just confirmed with the brother that he will be in studio with us tomorrow at 4. Why? Well, we're live and local, and I love variety and I love guests. I've got a lot of questions for a guy that rolled the dice and said, you know what? I'm not getting into stocks. I'm not getting into plastics. I'm getting into freaking hot sauce. And he's made a success. They're in their 21st year right now. So Danny Cash will join us in studio at 4 o'clock tomorrow, hear his story. And of course, you can help support his Colorado small business. Here's another one. Roll Them Out Shelves. Joyce and Brent are terrific individuals, great human beings, and they certainly have a great product. Roll Them Out Shelves. Simple storage, clean quality construction, a practical home upgrade for you. You can now streamline your space. No more awkward bending and twisting and having the pots and pans fall out onto your kitchen floor. First world problems, yes, but that's where we live, at least for now, as I always say. They did my kitchen earlier this year, and I absolutely love my rollouts. You will as well. They're built of sturdy Baltic birch, and they're built right here in Colorado at their Brighton facility. They are guaranteed for life, and you can get these rollout shelves installed, of course, in your kitchen. But think about maybe your bathroom or pantry, laundry room, basement, anywhere with cabinet space. They can help you maybe declutter and get more organized. Get on their schedule for a free in-home estimate. It's not high pressure. You're going to love meeting them. And I bet you go with them and you're probably going to say, well, if you were honest, you'd say, Stephen Tubes, you were right. I should have called sooner. Call them at Roll Them Out Shelves. Get on their free estimate schedule, 303-475-9601, 303-475-9601, or online anytime, rollemoutshelves.com. That's rollemoutshelves.com.
Over on the west end, one crash on the highway, eastbound C470 after Alameda. That's in the right lane. Just a minor delay trying to get by this. Rest of the highways are doing fine. Still crowded on that 270 drive across Commerce City. 9 to 11 minutes for you to make that drive. That's definitely improving. Highway 36 looks great. No delay. I-25 looking better as well, traveling between downtown and the Tech Center. Now off highway, do have a crash in the drive up north, Colorado Boulevard at Thornton Parkway. I'm Susan Thielen.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag. Wendy's Biggie Bag is just $5. Get your choice of a double stack junior bacon cheeseburger or crispy chicken BLT plus 4-piece nugs, small fries, and a small drink, all for $5. U.S. price of participation may vary.
Charlie Kirk explains the leaked Supreme Court documents.
It simply means that states will be able to determine their own abortion law. States will be able to say that if they want to outlaw abortion, then so be it. It's less about abortion and it's more about the Constitution. That's a very important thing, where the left, they believe that abortion, for whatever reason, is some sort of constitutional right. It isn't.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 10, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on News Talk 710, KNUS.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to MediShare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And MediShare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. MediShare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it. Find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 855-94-BIBLE. That's 855-94-BIBLE, 855-94-BIBLE.
Life's about choosing where you want to go and mapping out a financial path to get there. Of course, things don't always go according to plan. An experienced financial advisor can help you avoid potential hazards and find alternate routes. The right financial advisor is there for the journey, helps you plan for what's coming, makes adjustments along the way, and helps keep you on track to reach your goals. Are you on the road to success? Contact us for a complimentary review to find out.
Call Alpha One Tax and Wealth at 833-650-7526 or visit alpha1wealth.com. Perfect air with a personal touch. Only Pastor Camp Heating and AC Inc. can give you authentic Lennox quality and service. They're the people you know and trust right here in our community. And for a limited time, they're offering up to $1,000 in rebates or make no payments for 6 months when you finance a new Lennox system for as little as $132 a month. To get quality Lennox equipment with trusted service provided by Pastor Camp Heating and AC Inc. Call 303-777-1234 today or visit them online at pastorcamp.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
News Talk 710, KNUS. Now, back to Steffan Tubbs. News Talk 710, KNUS.
From the 50s, such a new sound, obviously, way back when. Thank you to DJ Matt. We got one more tune coming up because we are now into our final 30 minutes of the program. Don't forget, tomorrow in for George, Jimmy Sangenberger, and then we'll be back, God willing, at 3:03 tomorrow. We'll continue talking about the doxing. I'm wondering if anyone, I say this, I shouldn't even say it because it's like, of course, we know the answer. Was there anyone on Capitol Hill with a D in front of their name that spoke even off? I'll give them this. How about they spoke off the record saying that they didn't like what happened with people showing up at a Supreme Court justice's home over the weekend? You think they even said that off the record? I don't. So certainly they didn't come. I mean, it is Monday, so we've still got a few days to go before Nancy Pelosi's Thursday media availability. Wonder if she'll say anything. Right. Absolutely sickening. Not quite as sickening, but bad nonetheless. Holy cow, Wall Street.
Wall Street is once again plunging on concerns that the Federal Reserve is either behind the curve when it comes to dealing with inflation at a 4-decade high, or that it's going to overcompensate with rate hikes and stall economic growth. Large tech stocks are feeling the brunt of the sell-off, the very stocks that led the more than decade-long bull market rally. Microsoft's market cap dipped below $2 trillion for the first time since June 2021, and semiconductor makers AMD and NVIDIA are seeing their respective shares tumble to their lowest levels in nearly a year.
The Dow was down about 654 points today. The NASDAQ was off 521. The S&P 500 was down 132. Not good. So as we say often, a lot this year, maybe just avoid checking your 401k balance if you've got a 401k, because I can almost guarantee you, unless you're really smart, you've probably had no choice but to see that balance go down. I'm just trying to save you the heartburn. Let's get now to Moscow. This is uplifting. May 9th in Russia, a holiday marking the Soviet Union's defeat of Nazi Germany on this date in 1945. As you're probably aware, over at least the last week, all of the posturing from Moscow, something big's going to happen. This is Victory Day and we are victorious. Mother Russia, we love you. Well, by the way, what you're about to hear, no offense, because, I couldn't be a translator to save my life. Like literally, kill me now. I couldn't do it. But this may be the worst translator activity I have heard in a while, but stick with it for a bit.
Уважаемые граждане России,
the citizens of Russia,
ветераны,
the veterans,
товарищи солдаты и матросы,
soldiers and Navy officers, sergeants,
мичманы и прапорщики, товарищи офицеры, генералы и адмиралы.
Officers, generals, admirals.
Поздравляю вас с днем Великой Победы.
I congratulate you on Victory Day.
Защита Родины, когда решалась ее судьба, всегда были священны.
When our nation's fate was decided, will always be a sacred memory.
All right, that from earlier today. Victory Day in Russia. I guess, thankfully, no nukes. I mean, hashtag winning, no nukes. But the killing, of course, continues, sadly, in Ukraine.
Ukrainian officials say Russians bombed a school over the weekend where civilians were seeking shelter. They estimate at least 60 people were killed in the blast. CBS News has seen multiple examples of indiscriminate bombing in Ukraine, resulting in civilian deaths. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, in his own speech, says Russia's Victory Day will someday become Ukraine's Victory Day.
President Biden is prepared to sign a new bill into law this afternoon, which will allow the U.S. to lend or lease Ukraine weapons for its defense.
A senior defense official says Mariupol continues to take Russian airstrikes, but the Ukrainians are still resisting. Elsewhere, the Russians have all but stalled in their advances. The Ukrainians continue to mount a strong defense of Kharkiv, and that's preventing Russian troops from moving south into the Donbass to encircle Ukrainian forces. More U.S. assistance continues to flow in, while this official says the Russians are having inventory problems.
CBS's Cammie McCormick from the Pentagon. I don't know where this ends, how it ends. I will say, as we are as guilty as anybody. First few weeks of the war in Ukraine, that pretty much dominated the talk on this program. And absolutely rightly so, and completely justified. But isn't it interesting, especially I know you're a news talk junkie, how the news cycles work? Even here locally, and I'll tie it in kinda in a second. Time goes on. Things are bad, but they were bad and they were atrocious, and death and millions of refugees and But think about this. And again, we are live and local. I love when warranted, and certainly the war in Ukraine is, when we can focus on international news as well. And, with our partnership with CBS News, we can get correspondents on, as we had Steve Futterman on from the Poland-Ukraine border multiple times, I don't know, 5-6 weeks ago. But let's just not forget, and I'm not trying to shame and guilt you at all, but I don't, that right now as we speak, there's probably a mother that did not sleep well, and it's before sunrise in Ukraine. The mother didn't sleep well because she wonders, maybe, perhaps, where are they going to live? Or how about down to the basic, I wonder if the dog is still alive? How about the most important, I wonder if fill in the blank loved one is still alive? The last I have seen, I had not heard anything about rescinding the 18 to 60-year-old men. Yeah, you can go ahead and leave now. So it's not lost on me that, again, I cannot even comprehend. I'm sure like you. I mean, can you comprehend really 8 to 10 million people, mostly women and children, some handicapped, some older men? What are they going to do? So I use the example of a mother who may be awake right now before the sun rises in Poland or Moldova or wherever they are, wondering, what's next? But it's so easy to just, especially here so far away, to just forget about, the sadness was sad when we talked about it, but that was 2 months ago, and, let's move on. It's just not lost on me. And then you tie it into today with a significant date in Russian or Soviet Union history. It's an example of this is still going on. And the rhetoric of nuclear war, we threaten you, you continue to send money, materiel, weapons. Don't forget we've got the nukes. Again, I'm not trying to rain on your parade or say the sky is falling. I'm just saying, I think sometimes especially the busy show that we have with variety being one of the most important things, I just don't want to have that be forgotten. And the death toll, I bet you when all is said and done and we get even approximate death toll numbers, not to mention, wouldn't you say now it has to be into, at least from the US perspective, probably trillions of dollars in damage? But the death toll, casualty rates, people caught in a steel factory in Mariupol for 5+ weeks, bombings of buildings containing and housing children continue. It is truly, truly sad. And it's kind of the same thing here locally. Work with me here. Not comparing the two, save for if you knew the victims of the triple homicide in Green Valley Ranch, April 26th. For some, it remains and will be forever until they die the worst day of their family history. A man, a woman, as Blake has been talking about, I'll have more on the arrest made today, straight ahead. A man, woman, and a 4-year-old little boy. Each victim shot multiple times. How quickly that fades from every newscast, every A block of a television newscast, meaning the first block before the first commercial break. I just wonder whether it's 7, 9, 31, 2, Channel 4. I wonder how many times over the course of the last, say, week, there is literally someone who killed 3 individuals on the loose until today when they announced the arrest. Wonder how much media coverage that has received. I'm not trying to pat myself on or the show on the back saying what a great job we've done, but we haven't let, say, the crap that happened at La Alma Lincoln Park and the death of a Good Samaritan. I have pounded that story for almost 2 weeks. And I'm proud to say, even though it's so sad, that we haven't let the Green Valley Valley Ranch triple homicide go, especially anybody killed is horrible. But as I've said, and I hope I've made crystal clear, it's just different. What that child was shot multiple times. A 4-year-old, no matter what the parents or the adults in that apartment were doing, that 4-year-old kid had nothing to do with it. But it just kind of fades away. But I bring this up for a point. It's one thing for Channel 9 not to do it anymore. It's another for me to go 3 days and not mention the Green Valley Ranch triple homicide. It's another for these feckless, spineless, elected, quote unquote, officials who didn't say anything the night of the triple homicide, where they knew immediately that there was a little boy. That was the first briefing from DPD, April 26th. Where was the outrage from Denver's mayor? Oh, wait, he couldn't get outraged, at least locally, because he was in Finland. How about Stacy Gilmore, who represents Green Valley Ranch and is the city council president? She waited nearly 96 hours to say anything on social media, but in the days before, between the triple homicide and when she finally said something, I'm sure not literally, but she's tweeting about the local bake sale. It's one thing, and I can blame my fellow colleagues in media, whether it's an internet rag or the Denver Post or any TV station or other competing radio station. It's one thing for me to blame them, but you know what? We do what we do, and this happens all the time. But when it's on your watch and you're the council member of this particular neighborhood, you're the mayor or whoever was in charge while the mayor is, what do they eat in Finland? Cold canned fish? I don't know. Love you if you're of Finnish heritage. But I guess I got to give him a break. Well, he wasn't even in Colorado. He wasn't even in the United States. He was in Finland. But where was the outrage? Like, again, with the La Alma Lincoln Park or this triple homicide, where's the outrage of, now this is enough? No, instead, they closed down the park. So even though it's complete and utter bullshit, they close the park. So according to Jamie Torres, the city council representative, so that rec center employees could grieve. Got it. She also didn't say anything for about 72 hours after that homicide in her district. But how come that instance or the triple homicide, how come that isn't like that is the final straw? If there was ever a time to have a horrible crime teed up for anyone elected or anybody with a voice, teed up for them, to me would be the death of a 4-year-old in a triple homicide. Call me crazy. We've got to take a break for news. Blake's standing by with that, and we will give you the brand new film assignment for this week, and that is straight ahead. All factors like, say, hormones and stress and genetics, even getting older, all factors in leading to you losing the precious hair on your head. Well, there's fortunately a way for you. If you are in that category, you can reverse balding and thinning hair. They use groundbreaking technology. It's at Advanced Hair, and their simple one-day treatment. You can regrow your own natural hair in places, brothers and sisters, it may have been gone for decades. Let's just face it. Advanced Hair works for men and women across all ages. Your new hair backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. They've already improved the lives of tens of thousands of people, and they can maybe add you to the list. Set up your free consultation today. 720-459-HAIR. If it's the right fit for you, you'll get 250 free hair grafts, plus $250 off. Be sure to ask about the Advanced Hair Guarantee. And you can, again, regrow your own natural hair. 720-459-HAIR. See before and after pictures right now at advancedhair.com. We will end this show on a positive, and I'm just telling you, if you haven't heard the Kentucky Derby call from Saturday, it's awesome. We'll have that next.
News, traffic, weather, and the latest on Ukraine.
Well, it was a beautiful day up and down the Front Range. We'll have traffic and weather coming up. Denver police announcing today that they arrested 24-year-old Elijah Hood for the triple homicide in April north of Green Valley Ranch. One of the victims was a 4-year-old boy. Hood is being held for investigation of 3 counts of first-degree murder. Denver police also say they have the suspect in Friday's deadly shooting near North Broadway and 3rd Avenue. It's Darren Harris. He's being held on investigation of first-degree murder. On Wall Street today, the Dow lost 653 points to 32,245. The S&P 500 fell 132 points to 3991. The NASDAQ dropped 521 points to 11,623. Both the escaped Alabama inmate and the prison guard accused of helping him are in custody. Police said jailer Vicky White and inmate Casey White, no relation, were captured in Indiana during a car pursuit and subsequent wreck. Vicky was hurt by a self-inflicted gunshot wound and is in the hospital. BLM co-founder Patrice Cullors admitted this week that she used the group's $6 million property to host personal parties, bringing light to further suspicions of BLM leaders misusing funds for personal gain. Nikola Jokic named back-to-back NBA MVP today, the Nuggets own. And the Avs go for the sweep tonight against Nashville NHL first round of the playoffs. Puck drops at 7:30. Steffan continues in a few minutes. Stay with us. Blake Olson, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Highways are looking good for us. Did have a wreck on C470 out near Alameda. That crash is gone. So are any backups. The rest of the highways, we are looking good. I-25 opening up nicely. And that drive between downtown and the tech center take about 10 minutes either direction. Eastbound 270, a little slow there right at York. Got that merging traffic. And northbound 225 bunched up getting onto I-70. Rest of the highways look great. Do watch for a crash up in Adams County, Colorado Boulevard at Thornton Parkway. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Still a bit breezy. Lows tonight near 40 degrees under clear to partly cloudy skies. Tuesday will be warm. High 75 to 80. Southeast winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour by afternoon. Lows Tuesday night in the upper 40s. Wednesday partly cloudy, quite warm. Breezy south winds. Highs well into the 80s. Cooling to the 70s Thursday. A front coming through may trigger a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist on day 710. KNUS.
Spring is finally here with all its big moments and happy days, and we're celebrating the Roadies Your Way. Come try our new seasonal menu additions at no extra charge, and bring your loved ones to honor your special life milestones. Celebrate spring and celebrate you at Rodizio Grill, the Brazilian steakhouse. 18th and Wine Coop in Denver. Parking validation available.
Fact, our bodies are under attack every day. Whether it's COVID, vaccines, the air we breathe, the water we drink, and even the food we eat, we are constantly trying to keep up with the Colorado weather, fighting off stress and inflammation. But there's a solution. C60 Complete. C60 Complete is a scientist-formulated, doctor-approved antioxidant supplement that helps you achieve a longer, healthier, and happier life. Do what I'm doing to improve my health and go to purebellavita.com. That's purebellavita.com to get your monthly supply today. Hey, it's George Brockler with 710 KNUS. For a business owner, or like me, it's always tax season. The Employee Retention Credit is a great way to pay down back taxes or to receive your credit from the IRS via check. The taxpayer advocates, and they are advocates, at El Dorado Tax Solutions offer real-world solutions, not empty promises like so many do. This boutique firm can help stop bank levies and garnishments. Call El Dorado Tax Solutions at 720-769-7433 to see if you qualify for ERC credits and or to discuss your tax liability. That's El Dorado Tax Solutions at eldoradotaxsolutions.com.
It's easy and profitable to be kind to others when you enter the Kindness Challenge. Each day for 30 days, we'll post a new act of kindness that you can do for others. On June 1st, you could win $5,000, and a deserving organization will also receive $5,000 in your name. You can make a difference in others' lives when you enter the Kindness Challenge.
The Kindness Challenge is brought to you in part by The Garage in Inglewood and Parker, home of the KNUS $99 oil change.
Hi, it's Steffan Tubbs. Make a plan and join us for the American Veteran Show. Every Sunday, we highlight incredible stories from around the country and here in Colorado. It is an honor to profile veterans, active duty, and military-related charities every single week. The American Veteran Show, part history lesson, always done with appreciation. Get a dose of patriotism. We hope you'll join us.
The American Veteran Show with Steffan Tubbs, Sundays at noon on News Talk 710 KNUS. Now, back to Steffan Tubbs, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Years ago today, Richard Wayne Penniman. And does anybody say, I'd never have the hard pronunciation of little. Everybody, Lil Richard. So hopefully that's taken you back, maybe down memory lane, who knows, depending on your age. Let's see. There is one more great sponsor I got to tell you about, and then we'll give you the film assignment and the Kentucky Derby. You do not need to turn, say, to your wallet with credit cards in it to pay for the things you need as prices rise. Paying off your debt now, obviously, look at Wall Street. It's more important than ever. If you're a homeowner, you need cash. You know, with the way home values have gone up in the metro area, you've got possibly equity that can really help you right now. Get with my friends at the Town Group. If you're a business owner with large write-offs, or maybe you're self-employed, no W-2s. I dealt with Melissa in such a great positive way. They were terrific when I did my refi late last year. And the silver lining with skyrocketing home values, you may be able to unlock that equity that maybe you haven't had access to before. If other lenders have said no, give Melissa at the Town Group just 5 minutes to hear your story. With that equity, she can more than likely get you into a loan. If you've got the income to buy but limited down payment, give them a call before you get priced out of the market. The Town Group, 833-MY-JUMBO. That's 833-MY-JUMBO, or towngroupmortgage.com. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the Friday Homestretch Film Review Film of the Week, powered by Danny Cash, Danny Cash Hot Sauce, DannyCash.com. Drum roll, please. This week's assignment from 2008. If you like wine, I would be stunned if you have not seen this film. It is Bottle Shock. Bottle Shock. Alan Rickman, Chris Pine, Bill Pullman, and more. Bottle Shock from 2008. It's the story of how California wines and Napa Valley really comes of age, Napa and Sonoma Valleys. If you don't know the story, it is based on a true story. And take that, you French connoisseur of wine. So coming up Friday, clips, trivia, and more. Bottle Shock from 2008. We will review that, hopefully with you, on Friday. And we wrap up. What a weekend. Are you nutso?
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
And Summer is tomorrow, had a great start and goes immediately to the early lead. Messier is away running with speed. Crown Pride to the outside. Epicenter is going to be taken back a bit, down toward the inside as Tapa goes up outside of Chargent. And farther out and close to the pace is Cyberknife. Then comes on the outside Zozos as they race by. Zozos is next after 3/4 in 1 minute 10 and 4/5 seconds. And now Epicenter comes splitting horses and is moving up quickly as Crown Pride takes the lead around the far turn. It is Crown Pride battling with Messier. They're stride for stride. Epicenter and Zozos in behind them. Cyberknife swings up on the outside. Sandon gets the rail run, and they're into the stretch. And it's Messier, Crown Pride, then Epicenter is coming up on the outside. Epicenter has taken the lead as they arrive into the final furlong.
Wait for it.
Sandon is coming after him. Epicenter and Sandon, these two, stride for stride. Simplification down the outside is next. They're coming down to the wire. Epicenter, Sandon, Rich Strike is coming up on the inside. Oh my goodness, the longest shot has won the Kentucky Derby.
Wait, what? 80-1?
Rich Strike has done it in a stunning, unbelievable upset.
Forget Rich Strike, Lightning Strike. That's one of the biggest upsets in the history of the Kentucky Derby. Friday morning at 8 a.m., this horse was not in the race. Eric Reed, the trainer, Sonny Leon, the jockey, have never been a part of the Derby, and they have won an unbelievably upset, shocking Kentucky Derby with Rich Strike.
Simply awesome. Matt, if we'd only put like $1,000 on Rich Strike, we could have actually struck it rich. For producer Matt Steinkruger, Blake Olson, Steffan Tubb saying stay safe and healthy. Have a great rest of your evening. Remember our troops, and we will talk with you tomorrow. Good night.